All right. Hey, how we doing? How's everybody? What is good? Let's see if I'm live or not. Am I live? Is YouTube showing me? Hmm. Let's see. Doesn't look like I'm live yet. There we go. There I am. Here I am. It's good, everybody. What's popping? How's it going? Let me crack into this little thing so we get started right. I just got to start off with the sound of a beer opening. Tonight I got a bottle. You guys hear that audio? I hope you guys heard that. Happy Friday the 13th, nerds. Welcome. Welcome to the Movie Mass. I am your boy Jay, the Bishop of Bull Moose, holding it down here. I got a nice little lunch. This is Maine Beer Company, and this is a large bottle, so I'm gonna try to be dignified and pour this into a glass instead of drinking it out of the giant bottle like a hobo. I understand you're probably not supposed to call them hobos these days, but I still do. Where can I put that so I don't knock it over? I'm going to embarrass myself. I hope everybody's having a nice Friday the 13th. I got several topics on my mind. First, I'll check on the chat. I'll see how you nerds are doing. I feel like that is the one N word I can get away with, you nerds, because I am one. It's like when Tupac says the other N word, he's allowed to say it because, gangster rap. But let's see. Sounds good. Okay. Sounds like everybody can hear me. It must have just been a temporary thing. There's what the lunch looks like after you pour it. This is not a black lager. I know it's February. I still have a black lager left. I might drink one after this, but we should be drinking black lagers and black IPAs all month, guys, but I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. I much prefer like a nice hazy New England IPA like that. See that? See how orange that is and you can't see through it? If it doesn't look like Sunny Delight, it ain't my beer. Brad was good, my man. Daniel Banks. Yo, what's up, nerds? Yep, that's how you do it. That is our N-word, guys. Nerds. Is that offensive? It might be a little bit, but hey, nerd starts with an N. Jeff, what up? What's good, man? I hope your blood sugars are treating you nicely. Mine have been annoying me all day today. My stupid blood glucose. I have found it to be quite annoying. The Dexcom has just been beeping like incessantly, which I should have seen coming. I made pizza for everybody for dinner tonight, and it was okay pizza. It was not my best effort, but I made pizza for everybody. So of course I ate a little bit of pizza for dinner. I mean, it was homemade, so at least it was fresh. But yeah, my blood glucose, the thing's just been like squawking at me all night. You know how the Dexcom does? It's like beep beep beep, and like 15 minutes goes by and it beep 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 again, and just driving me nuts, man. I'm trying to put my daughter to bed, and it's like beeping, and I'm like, dude, can you just shut up for 20 minutes so I can put my kid to sleep? It's very, very annoying. Jack Burton. I don't know who you are, but I feel like we should have been roommates in college, Jack Burton, because you have impeccable taste in motion pictures. Even if you don't like a single other good movie, if you love Big Trouble in Little China, I feel like I slur that every time. Big Trouble in Little China. I swear to, this is my first beer, guys, but Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, I think if you're a fan of Big Trouble in Little China, you're cool. And I think if you're not a Big Trouble in Little China fan, you're probably my wife. I've got her to sit through that movie twice now, I think, and we've been together like 13 years. So she's due for another one. I guess maybe once I hit 1,000, because I'm slowly but surely pushing towards 1,000 subs. I reckon I'll hit 1,000 subs probably by like 2027, definitely before 2028. So as a celebration for hitting 1,000, what I think I'd like to do, and let me know in the chat if you're feeling this or not feeling this, but I think what I'd like to do is to get my wife to come, set up a chair next to me and have her sit next to me, and we'll just watch Big Trouble in Little China together. And you guys will get to watch her face as she hates every minute of it. Yeah, I think that would be very amusing. Friday the 13th, guys, what is everybody watching? Obviously, I've got Friday the 13th on my brain and on my chest. Look at that. Oh. I'm rocking my Friday the 13th shirt, and this one glows in the dark, which is also cool because I'm like putting my daughter to sleep tonight, and it's glowing, and she's not intimidated because she's got no idea. She hasn't seen a Friday the 13th yet, but I promised her when she got a little older. I think I'm gonna go with, I don't know, maybe either part 4 or part 6, maybe part 6. That's just an easy one to fall asleep to. I'd be curious what Friday the 13th everybody else is watching, but we've also got Valentine's Day tomorrow, guys. This is a unique Friday the 13th in that it falls on February. Obviously, Valentine's Day is the 14th, so I almost feel like, yeah, you could watch a Friday the 13th tonight because it's Friday the 13th. You could also go with a more generalized horror theme, and I think that opens up, because it's adjacent to Valentine's Day as well, that opens up a lot of horror options. The obvious ones are like My Bloody Valentine remake, and those two films are actually in my list of topics that I wanted to kind of chat about a little bit tonight. Like I've got here, I've got right next to me My Bloody Valentine. This is the remake. I think this is one of the Walmart slipcovers from a few years ago. I don't know because I didn't buy it at Walmart. This is the Blu-ray. I actually got this. I was out with Chase. I was in Atlanta visiting fam, and Chase doesn't live terribly far from where my parents used to live up until last year. So I went and met up with Chase, and we went to the CD warehouse that's near him, and I found this copy of My Bloody Valentine 3D. This is a 2009 remake. And I think it was like $7. I watched it last night for the first time because, I knew I wasn't going to get a chance to watch it tonight. I'm doing this live. Tomorrow night is date night. I'm going to be watching kind of whatever my wife agrees to. And we're going to get 15 minutes into My Bloody Valentine. She's going to be a hell no. That girl runs around naked for like 10 minutes before getting killed, butt naked. Like, I think you could see her lips and flip-flaps and everything down there. She didn't have much pubic hair. I was very surprised with the amount of nudity in this film. This film, I'm kind of all over the place. This film was kind of a piece of crap. However, it did have some redeeming qualities. It was filled with like gratuitous nudity. That whole scene where she's running around naked. Like, I think a lesser film, they would have written it in that, she got like a quick, like throw on a pair of shorts and like a tank top. Maybe you could still see her nipples with the tank top or whatever. But what I'm saying is a lesser film would have had that character put on a little bit more clothing so you don't have like a 10-minute full frontal nude scene. But I just feel like this film is a product of its time period. And watching it last night really made me think about how much times have changed since 2009. This is the remake of the original. The original is a superior film, but this one's got way more nudity and very explicit violence. They've got a lot of shots of like eyeballs coming right out because it was originally 3D. So they got like the pickaxe coming right at the camera, and they've got the eyeball come out at the camera at one point, and a lot of like the blood splatter like right at the lens, which normally I hate. I normally hate those like really obvious 3D things, but in this film it's like, yeah, it's a gimmick, but this is a stupid film anyway. And so I don't know what I liked it. I liked it in My Bloody Valentine, even though overall I think the My Bloody Valentine remake is a POS. But it is remarkable how much times have changed. I feel like nowadays, in the current year of our Lord 2026, they want to make everything optimized for like streaming. We want to get it up on Netflix, so we can't have the girl running around for 10 minutes butt naked. You can't see her pubic hair 18 times. You cannot see her mons pubis from the back as she runs away from the killer nude for 18 full minutes because somebody's kid is going to like turn on their Samsung and suddenly be launched into their Netflix account, and through no fault of anyone's, suddenly the kid is going to be seeing what, I mean, a lot of softcore is not this good. So I feel like nowadays they play it very safe. And this film, I have to appreciate My Bloody Valentine 3D because they went for that R rating. They knew that they were making an R-rated film. They liked it. They were down. And I just feel like movies these days are like pussies compared to My Bloody Valentine 3D. So I will say all of that in favor of My Bloody Valentine 3D as an alternative for, like, it's Friday the 13th and I want to watch a horror movie, but it's also Valentine's Day tomorrow, so I'm hanging out with my girl. Pop it on, and if she's a freak, man, I don't know what kind of life you're living. Your girl might be a freak. Mine is a little bit. There's no shame in that. I'm about no shame in that game. So, you know, your girl's a little bit of a freak. You turn on this movie. There's the other girl running around naked. First, she's getting railed, and that's a pretty good scene, too. But then she spends the whole rest of her life, literally, running around nude. I mean, she's only got about 5 more minutes left to live, but she spends the whole time running around butt naked, and it's like, cheers to that. Cheers to that. Let's check back in on the chat. That was one of the things that I noted that I wanted to talk about is my impression of My Bloody Valentine. Chase, I hope you heard that, because that is, as you recall, one of the films I picked up when I was hanging with you, and you were like, oh, yeah, it's pretty good. There's a lot of nudity, and I was like, last night I was like, oh, yeah, he was right. There's a lot of nudity in that, and it was good. It was very good. What up, Chase, Eli, all you guys? Eli, what up, man? How you doing? This thing keeps moving on me. I keep trying to click a different thing, and it's moving. This is my first one, guys, I promise. Don't forget to prance nude all over that like button for like 10 minutes. Just run around naked on that. I was not expecting that much full frontal, Chase, I will say. You had pre-warned me like, yeah, it's pretty good. There's like a lot of girls run around naked a lot, but I was not. I was like, damn, dude, they were just filming Bush that day. Like, she had to be cold. I hope they filmed that in August or something. She run around outside naked and stuff. I don't know if that was really outside. I don't know. Mining tools are like lightsabers. Yeah, Kevin, what's up? Kevin Schmidt, hello, good evening. And you have a very valid point. That pickaxe was like a lightsaber. It just kind of went through everything. It was like slicing warm butter. Like everything that pickaxe touched, it just went through. He definitely put it through a lot of skulls. And I got to say, you know, Mother Nature has made this pretty hard. Like evolution gave us a pretty hard skull for a reason. You know, it's mostly to keep pickaxes out of there. So yeah, I agree. But he was like a artist with that pickaxe. He disappeared for 10 years, and I'm guessing he spent that time really working on his swing and like mastering his hand-eye coordination. Became like a kung fu master of that pickaxe. That's what's up. That is what's up. Yeah, there was a lot of that, and I'm not upset about it. I appreciated the graphic violence as well. It was just a dumb movie. You know, it's one of those films you have to go into with low expectations. And if you go in with low expectations, you're not going to be upset because you're going to get more Bush than you expected. And you're going to get a lot of violence, a lot more like just really gratuitous gore, like a lot of like fake torsos, like victims the next day. The cops are there taking the photos, the crime scene photos, and like just, you know, big rubber plastic torso of a victim like pulled open and the heart removed, and really just good, nasty stuff. And it really made me miss that era of filmmaking when, you know, not all of that was, it's '09, not all of that was practical. I think a lot of that blood that was like flying at the camera was quite likely computer generated. But even still, there was nonetheless a lot of like practical, you know, set dressing. Somebody got to have a lot of fun at that hospital dressing that set, you know, splattering blood all over the walls and getting it everywhere. That had to have been a lot of fun, just spraying it all over the room. And so, yeah, not a bad movie at all. Hey, here's a good question. Eli brings up a good question. Did anybody grab Hearts of Darkness today? There were only 1,500 special editions. That doesn't seem like much. This is the documentary about Jason Goes to Hell. And I was chatting actually with my man's Brad at 4K Tent Revival earlier today, and he made me aware that it was $40 for that for a Blu-ray. So that seemed like kind of a lot. I agreed with him. It seemed like, there he is. Look, there he is saying that's a big hell no. $50 shipped from Synapse, but like, this is Synapse we're talking about too, right? I mean, they've got to recoup their costs, their operating costs, because they release like 5 movies a year, right? They do like one release every other month. So I feel like they kind of have to, I don't want to say gouge, but that's the first word that sprung to my mind. They have to elevate prices enough to kind of hit that operating cost, right? Because they're not churning them out in the way that like OCN is with all their partner release. Like every month we get like 25 partner releases. Speaking of which, I will use that as an opportunity to very deftly transition the conversation. I did want to talk about My Bloody Valentine. Thank you to whoever steered it in that direction. But speaking of Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels, today they launched the Valentine's Day sale, and Vinegar Syndrome does a Valentine's Day sale every year, a Valentine's weekend sale, usually like a 3-day thing. What are they calling it today? Love Massacre? I think that's what they're calling it this year. And if I'd been prepared, I would have, right up there, I've got a Valentine's Day card that was included in, like last year, if you bought something during the sale, when they sent you the box, they sent you a Valentine's Day card. And I remember, like, I had the Valentine's Day card sitting out, and my wife was like, what the fuck is this? She, like, saw a Valentine's Day card that she knew she didn't buy. She's like, what the fuck? Who giving you Valentine's, motherfucker? I was like, oh, it's from Vinegar Syndrome, and it's not sexual. I give them money, so, you know, they gave me a Valentine's Day card. So I don't know if they'll do something like that again this year, but today was the day. Today was the sale. Obviously, it's one of the more minor sales. I think, you know, obviously their 2 big sales are Black Friday and halfway to Black Friday. Those are the big ones. Subscriber week is usually also fairly large because they want people to subscribe for the year. So that's kind of, it sets the tone for the year. I think Subscriber week is a fairly big sale. Subscriber week releases really do need to be impressive, in my opinion, in order to get people excited to subscribe. When you want to sell those $2,000 subs or $1,000 subs, there were $1,000 subs, which equals $2 million worth of sales for them. There's the September sale. I think 2024 it was the Rad sale, and 25 I don't remember what they called it. The September sale is the one where they always like find boxes full of old shit that's sold out, and I got to give it to them because the FOMO thing. I mean, Vinegar Syndrome leans hard into the FOMO thing, as you all know. And you know, you'll go online one day, you'll go look at a movie at Vinegar Syndrome's website, and they'll be like 4 copies left, only 4 units left, and then like 2 days later, you'll go in, it'll say, only 6 units left. And you're like, dude, it was 4 2 days ago. What the fuck happened? And they're like, yeah, sorry, we found a couple more units like under the couch cushions or whatever. Sorry, that number went up. And I guess there's returns, right? I mean, I'm not being a total moron. Sometimes there are returns. And so if a movie gets returned, then theoretically that number can go back up because an order was canceled or some other such. So yeah, it can happen, but I also think it's kind of funny because like every September they're like, yeah, we were doing the old fall cleaning of the warehouse and we found 4,000 more copies of The Keep or whatever, you know, whatever they wind up finding. I think the Angels, they found so many copies of the Angel trilogy. That's Angel, Avenging Angel, and Angel 3. They found so many. I think they found like 800 copies of each of those. They like bumped those way back up. In fact, those were still available today because it's one of the ones that I bought. I hear a rumor that Synapse has a bunch of DVDs for $2 on MVD shop. I did a shop at MVD. They had a sale, and I went shopping there. This was, gosh, probably back in 2024. And I was very lucky. Everything I ordered, I must have ordered, I don't know, half a dozen or 8 Arrow Blu-rays. And most of them were like Hong Kong shit. It was like Knockabout and the Shaolin Plot, you know, stuff like that. And I think all of them came with slipcovers. They were all limited editions. And I got really lucky. John Doe Juggalo, my man's Jeff, my boy, who when you come up here, he's gonna live with me. When he moves up here, he's gonna live right here. Does the Valentine's Day sale rotate daily, like the Subscriber Week did? That's a good question, because Subscriber Week, each day there were daily, what they call daily deals, and this time they're not using the term daily deals, and they put so many up. There was like 4 or 5 pages of deals. I don't think they're going to rotate. I don't think they're going to change from day to day like they did during Subscriber Week. They put like 8 or 10 up each day, and they just rotated them over the course of the week. I think this is like this is the stuff they're trying to clear. Like, everybody buy Evil Laugh. Please buy Evil Laugh. We still got 900 copies of Evil Laugh yet to sell, and we're going to find 800 more come September. So please buy Evil Laugh. I think that's kind of where they're going with that. I would be surprised to see any rotation, any new titles come in or go out. So hopefully you guys got some stuff today. I know I was listening to Chase at AV Pop Culture, and his live today, his lunchtime live, I was listening to him, and he was going through some of the titles, and just like him, I won't say I was super excited by the titles that they put on sale. They did put on sale a few titles that I was looking to pick up. Joy of Sex is one that I bought today. I bought two movies today. I bought Joy of Sex today, and that's one that I've had my eye on it since they released it, and that was, I don't know, 9-10 months ago now. It's been a while since they released Joy of Sex, and I was just waiting for it to hit a sale and for the numbers to get low enough that I felt compelled. And I think the numbers got to about 500. They might be even a little bit lower than 500 now, but yeah, not sure. I also picked up Angel 3, because there were 4 copies of that left today when the sale began. And that one wasn't even on sale, but there were just 4 copies left. So I would just put it in the cart and grab that while I had the opportunity. Who knows? Maybe they'll find more in September, but I didn't want to take the chance. So, there were a lot of cinematograph titles on sale. Joy of Sex, of course, being a cinematograph title. Go Fish was on sale. I don't know how they still have more than 2,000 copies left of Go Fish. I don't know if you guys have looked at the cover art of Go Fish, but let me tell you, I did a goddamn backflip the day they released Go Fish. I've bought 10 copies of that movie, because that is just definitely worth watching 10 times. Buy 10 different copies of the movie and just watch each copy once. I am, of course, being sarcastic. I think most of you guys can probably tell. And maybe you agree with me, but Go Fish looks like it is actually less fun than having a cotton swab inserted up your urethra to swab out cells from the inside of your pee hole to test you for syphilis and chlamydia. And that's something that they do on occasion. And I would rather have that done than watch Go Fish, because as uncomfortable as that is, and it is uncomfortable, that's called loading the musket in circles where I run, taking that Q-tip, that cotton swab, and inserting it into the urethra at the tip of your penis. That is called loading the musket. You know, when they used to load those muzzle loaders back in the day, like Mel Gibson and them from, what's that movie called that Mel Gibson did where he was the Revolutionary War dude? I don't even remember. The Patriot, that's what it was called. I don't like that movie. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like The Patriot. But loading the musket, and I would rather have a medical professional load my musket to test me for syphilis, even though I'm a married man and there is absolutely no reason for me to have an STD at this point in my life. I would rather that than watch Go Fish, because loading the musket's pretty quick. That's about a 5 or 10 second process. They're not super gentle with it, because they actually do have to get some cells off on that Q-tip. They do tend to swab the inside pretty good, but at least it's done. It's over. You don't have to sit through it. Oh my God, it's Adam Simmons. Holy shit. My man, that's my man right there. Creatures of the Night. Wow. Creatures of the Night right there, man. Shoot. It should be you and me doing this right now. Friday the 13th was always our bread and butter on Creatures of the Night, too. Let me tell you, that was a night to get weird. God, I miss you, dude. I made pizza tonight, Adam. I don't know if you heard me say that, but I I made pizza tonight, and it wasn't. I mean, compared to yours, obviously, it was. I would be eating the pizza off of a toilet seat, so I ain't afraid of nothing, because I eat pizza off toilet seats. But it was a toilet seat pizza tonight. Adam, it wasn't as good as yours. I watched Jason X recently. I've watched Jason X within the last 365 days, so I am barred by law from watching Jason X again. I got to hit at least 365 days, because that movie's pretty terrible. I was watching Chase's video tonight where he ranked the sleaze factor of the Friday the 13th, which I think is maybe the most appropriate way to rank Friday the 13th, ranking them in order of sleaze, because what are we watching them for? They're not Academy Award winners. I'm not watching them for the rich performances, right? The mise en scène. I'm not, you're not watching them because some French master, Akira Kurosawa or somebody, made these movies. You're watching them because they're gratuitously violent and there's lots of nudity, and they have 20-year-old actresses in here showing off their boobies, and this is why people watch Friday the 13th. And even amongst that, milieu, I think Jason X is pretty bad. It's a pretty bad one. You've got to kind of appreciate them swinging for the fences. It's Jason in space, but at the same time, some of what they do, like, the girls with the topless girls that he winds up banging against the tree, it's like, we've seen that before. He's done the tree banging thing 20 years earlier. And so I'm actually kind of tempted to bust out Jason Goes to Hell again, because as terrible as that is, I mean, the beginning, like the first 15 minutes is great, because you got that excellent sex scene in the tent, and then like right as she's about to bust, boom, she does the splits, but like the top half, not the bottom half. Usually when you do the splits, it's the bottom half of you, right? It's the top half of her that does the splits. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So Joy of Sex and Blood Tracks. Yeah, did you get a copy of Blood Tracks? Is the limited edition still there? Jeff, I need you to report back. Is the limited still there? Because if it's not, it was pretty low today. I think Chase said it was like 100, 130, something like that. Blood Tracks is excellent. It's a very, very good film. In the sense that I just described, there is violence and nudity. There are naked people that you like seeing naked, that you're like, ooh, I want to see this person naked. You get to see them naked, and then there are some scenes, some of them are quite brutal. There's a scene where one of the mongoloids picks up this lady and throws her, and they're in this like foundry. It's like this old-timey mill that's been shut down forever, so everything's got tetanus on it. And he like picks her up and he throws her down, down like a level. So she falls like 20 feet or whatever, and she lands on a piece of rebar, and as you can expect from an 80s horror movie, the piece of metal or whatever, like, boom, juts through her. And, in a lesser movie, it would cut away nearly immediately. It would show the rebar kind of pop through and then cut away. I don't know what they were on, but it was genius. They just left it there. The shot lingers, and it's like bright red giallo blood fountain just kind of spraying out around the rebar for, I don't know, good like 5 to 10 seconds. I was like, how long is this shot gonna go? And they just went for it. And I gotta say, Blood Tracks had me from there on. And the song rocks too. It's a good one. Adam, I love you and I miss you as well. I feel like we should plan something. It may not be easy, and we got to get Chris involved. Chris is still kind of salty. He's salty that he's come up here and we haven't gone down there yet. So we got a plan to go down there. My mom has a house in Bradenton now. That's like 40 minutes away from Chris's. So Chris was kind of salty because I was like, yo, I'll come see you every time I go visit her. So I'll see you like once a year now. And he was like, well, I'm like, I'm an afterthought. I'm like, no, you're a forethought. I'm texting you right now to tell you that I'm looking forward to seeing you next time I go to Bradenton to visit my mom. But anyway, we got to go visit him, and we got to do some, I'm going to whisper this so no one else can hear me. We're going to do some mushrooms in his pool, okay? We're going to get in his pool, and we're gonna get on like floats or whatever, and we're gonna do some mushrooms in his pool. Okay, all right, cool break. Yeah, Jason X's Light on the TNA. I mean, Jason X came out at that weird time. I feel like 2000s, and then this may be an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but I feel like 2000s was not a fantastic time for horror films. There was a lot of stuff. I mean, they did a lot of remakes, and I feel like, they did the Halloween remake, they did the Friday the 13th remake, they did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and then, you know, it's like 2008, and they're looking around, they're like, what else can we remake? And that's why we got the My Bloody Valentine remake. And I don't know, I just feel like the aesthetic during that time as well. It's not just that the films were written or like executed poorly in some way. I think it's also like the even like the color grading on them, the way they're so like muted and washed out, and just they don't have that vibrance that, like, you pop in an 80s horror movie. I mean, we were talking about Blood Tracks a second ago. Just look at the slipcover art of Blood Tracks and look at how like just vibrant and like saturated the colors are, and just, it looks like an 80s music video, which is an aesthetic that I like. So it may be somewhat subjective to someone who's younger, who came up watching horror films in the aughts. To them, that's the aesthetic that they grew up with. They might like that really kind of like very sepia dominant, very desaturated kind of color. I don't know that I've really got a problem with the composition as much, but all of the posters were like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all those posters that are just, browns and blacks and just sepia. And, I feel like they were going for something that was like gritty and realistic, and they didn't want that like sort of Batman and Robin kind of like bright colors and gaudiness. But that's something that I've always liked. So Jason X, I think, falls into that period of time where it was the 2000s and things just look kind of blah. Like even the ladies, like they have like weird short hair. Like I think the android lady, like she's a very attractive woman, but she looks older than she really is. And I didn't like her haircut. And so it was just really hard from a sleaze standpoint. It's very hard to enjoy Jason X. Also, Jason has hair in the beginning of that movie, which is just really off-putting to me, that Jason has hair. He hasn't had hair since part 2. And even that, I'm fine with that being like a fever dream, an LSD fever dream. So, I'm not a huge fan of Jason X for that reason. I mean, I like how kind of balls to the wall and dumb it is. Like the nanobots put him back together, and he's just like, they even rebuild his cocky mask into this weird futuristic thing. I don't know why the nanobots or the nanomachines felt the need to do that, but just the whole aesthetic is like really like stupid, and I like that part. But yeah. I'm gonna second this. Everybody here should own Blood Tracks. If you don't own Blood Tracks, you're messing up. I usually don't like those YouTube videos that are like, don't make this collecting mistake and stuff, because I'm like, what, it's you're buying movies on discs. It's not like heart surgery. Like no one's gonna die. You just do what you want. Like buy the things you want to buy. Like there's no like collecting mistakes. I usually detest those YouTube videos, but in a few, I think there's a few exceptions to every rule, and I think this is one of them. If you don't own Blood Tracks with the slipcover, you've failed at collecting movies. That's a collecting mistake. And so that's one that you can take to the bank. You need to get Blood Tracks. It's good. It's good in a stupid way. It's what you would want from a Vinegar Syndrome movie. Oh, the Hitcher remake. I gotta confess, I have never seen the Hitcher remake. Sorry guys. I never saw the Hitcher remake. Haven't seen it. One of these days I'll get around to it, but yeah, I need the 80s. I need the 80s and the 90s. I'm good with the 90s aesthetic too. Like watching something that to me is like wicked 90s, like The Faculty with Josh Hartnett ass. To me, it's a different aesthetic than, 10 years earlier, like circa 86, 87. It is a different aesthetic, but it's still an aesthetic that I can appreciate, and it's still a very cheesy movie. So yeah, I like that. I'm definitely with that. Shroomtastic for shizzle. When you go to Florida and you don't do shrooms, I don't know if YouTube is going to like me advocating for that, but if you go to Florida and you don't do shrooms, what are you doing? You want to get bit by an alligator sober, like not on shrooms? I do love those videos where they're like the Florida guys like fighting the alligator and stuff. Those are always fun. Those are always good times. So yeah, I will say, just to wrap up conversation of the Vinegar Syndrome sale. Vinegar Syndrome sale. I felt like I might have messed that one up a little bit. It was, I agree, it was a little underwhelming. A lot of the stuff that was on sale I had already got, or it was stuff that there were no VSUs on sale. That was a bit of a disappointment because there are a few VSUs. I'm a little bit behind on VSUs. I've been waiting for those to go on sale as well. I usually wait for, they produce so many VSUs. They produce 8,000, 10,000, sometimes even 12,000 units of the limited edition for the VSUs. So most of the time, those don't sell out very fast. You usually have plenty of time to pick up a VSU. And so you can usually wait until it hits a 50% off sale. And a VSU that's normally $45 on the Vinegar Syndrome website might be as low as 30, 32, 33. So I like saving money. And when you buy 100 movies a year and you save 10 or 15 bucks per, you can do the math. You save a pretty good bit of money towards your budget. You can buy more movies that way. So I'm pretty cheap. But like I said, I picked up Joy of Sex and Angel 3 just because Angel 3 was like about to go. I got my eye on a couple other things. Brimstone and Treacle. Here's a few other things in the sale. I don't think there's any, maybe Thieves Like Us, but that's still over 1,000. So I think we're pretty safe on Thieves Like Us for a little while. That's an Altman film. It's got Keith Carradine in it. I got a soft spot for that one, and I'll buy an Altman film especially when it's on sale. And that's a 4K cinematograph. Pinky's out when you're drinking a fine New England IPA and saying the word cinematograph. But yeah, nothing really amazing out of the sale today. I would have loved to have picked up like Congo, Virtuosity, one of those VSUs that's should be on sale by now, but I guess they weren't the right theme for the Valentine's Day sale. But we also got Criterion announcements today, y'all. And I was semi-excited about those Criterion releases. Let me find I get the email from Criterion, as I'm sure most of you guys do as well. And the email from Criterion has the the announcement in it. Let's see here. I cannot see this tiny screen because it's too far away from me. I need to sit at a desk or something. So, the Criterion Collection announcements today, I can't say I was extremely excited about them, but let's see if I can, do I have a, let's see if I can add to the stream a browser window. Yeah, might be too much work. So they announced Body Heat, The Delta, Sentimental Value, Fresh Kill, Stray Dog, Lenny, and then through one of their other, I think it's the Janus Contemporaries, or no, it's Criterion Contemporaries. It's not one of their numbered part of their collection. But Peter Hujar's Day. A lot of those movies I'm not super familiar with. Unlike last Criterion announcement, I was very familiar with all of the films and actually quite excited about many of them. This month, really, it's just two that I'm kind of excited about. Stray Dog, 1949. That's kind of an early Kurosawa. You think about Kurosawa, and he's done a lot of his work in the 50s and 60s. So the big films, the big Kurosawa films that you think of, like Seven Samurai, Rashomon, what are some other ones? Those are mostly 50s. I think Seven Samurai was 53 or 54. So he was doing a lot of his work in that post-war era, the 50s and the 60s. And of course, he did continue to work through the 70s and the 80s as well. I think Kagemusha is late 70s or early 80s. I don't remember the year on Kagemusha. I'm sure one of you guys will tell me because you got the internet. But Stray Dog is a pretty early Kurosawa. younger Kurosawa. And that one's, obviously, it's been in the collection for a long, long time. What's the number on that one? I'm very curious. It's got to be an earlier number, because I think Stray Dog has been in the collection for some time. Let's see. That is spine number 233. So yeah, that's pretty early in the collection there. And so it's been on DVD for the longest time. Looks like the DVD is still in print for $32. It's the same price as the Blu-ray, is also $32. The 4K is obviously what has been announced. It looks like maybe that Blu-ray is new too. Yeah. So that Blu-ray is new as well. I was just locked on DVD, just like The Bad Sleep Well, which is one that's been locked on DVD for many, many years. I complained about that in a recent video. I'd rather have a 4K of The Bad Sleep Well than Stray Dog, and I don't know if that's a popular opinion amongst Kurosawa fans or not, but yeah. Jeff, yeah. So Stray Dog is a good one. It's a Kurosawa, and it's more of a contemporary. I think when people think of Kurosawa, you think of like Rashomon was set in Tokugawa shogunate era Japan, medieval Japan, pre-modern Japan. So was Seven Samurais, so was Kagemusha, Ran. There's a lot of, he did make a lot of period piece films, but he did several like High and Low, Stray Dog, The Bad Sleep Well. He did several that were contemporaneous to when he was making the films too. So he's got a lot of films set in the 50s and 60s as well, and Stray Dog is one of those. So I do recommend Stray Dog as a Kurosawa film. I'm not familiar with the others. I haven't seen it. Well, Body Heat, sorry. Body Heat is the other one that I'm actually quite excited about. Body Heat. I'm very, very excited about Body Heat. I see that Chase shares my excitement. I think the artwork for Body Heat is amazing. It's beautiful artwork. It makes me wish that they did posters the way Shout does. When Shout would send you that rolled poster for pre-ordering, I would pre-order that to get a rolled poster of that. The artwork of the cover almost makes up for all of the shitty artwork Criterion has dumped on us over the past couple of years. It's not a recent thing that Criterion artwork has largely sucked. They have hired a lot of kindergartners to draw a lot of covers for their movies with oil pastels while huffing paint thinner. That's what it is. They're getting a bunch of 6-year-olds coming home from kindergarten. Let's get them high on rubber cement. Let's hand them some oil pastels. Let's put Pee-wee's Big Adventure on in the background, and let's just see what they come up with. A lot of it has been that really, it's the kind of art that, some artist is some 50-year-old, 60-year-old artist who's been making art, who's been painting and drawing for 65 years. And, it's just, this is what they do. This is the style, right? It's very modern. It's very, blocky. It's very flat. It's not photorealistic at all, but it's not engaging. It's not very nice to look at. Like, there's nothing about the Pee-wee's Big Adventure artwork, Criterion artwork, that makes me think, wow, like somebody really put some effort into this. I look at Body Heat and I'm like, look at the composition. Look at the colors. That graphic design, I know maybe it's a painting, but I'm looking at it now. That could just be, Photoshop, a still, a still promotional image or something from the film. But I mean, you can look at that. I mean, you can stare at that artwork. And I think it's just unfortunate that most Criterion artwork is like not remotely that good. Most of it sucks. And Jerry, you didn't make a mistake. Did you get the slipcover? Is the slipcover left? Can somebody tell me if the slipcover is left? Because I'm gonna go buy 3 or 4 of them using various different accounts, and I'm gonna scalp them for $100 on eBay starting Monday. Jerry is one of us. He's just part of the Blood Tracks Club now. Wait till you see that lady get tossed onto that rebar, and the camera's just like, we're just hanging out. We're just rolling film. That editor was like, I ain't cutting none of this shit. That editor was like, ain't nothing hitting the floor today except for my shoes, motherfucker. Like, I ain't cutting it. That blood splurting, I ain't cutting it. It's going to be a 10-minute blood splurt. You know, just one long tracking shot going around in circles of this lady's corpse while the blood just shoot out. It's an enjoyable movie. Oh, Jeff knew about Stray Dog. Yeah, I mean, it's a Kurosawa, so you see the name. And I think Kurosawa is actually Japanese for Criterion Collection. I think when you translate Criterion Collection into Japanese, you get Kurosawa. It's just the word that they call it. They call it the Kurosawa Collection over there in Japan. Oh. I mean, I'm here for it. It may not be super popular, but I like Chinatown. I'm not going to say I dislike it. I don't want people to take that away from what I'm about to say, but I'm very receptive to other films. Like as far as noir goes, I mean, you know, Chinatown that had that whole, you know, she's my daughter, she's my sister, she's my daughter and my sister. And it's like, I don't know if that was, you know, in the mid 70s, if that was like, holy shit for people watching it for the first time back in the mid 70s. I wasn't alive, and I certainly wasn't watching Chinatown until like the early 2000s when I was in film school, and they made us watch Chinatown. So I think by that point I was just like what? Like her dad had to fuck her for what reason? Why did she have to have a incest baby? It was just one of those things that I just wonder how it added to the film. And so, yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of open for, like, yeah, it's cool. Like, it's Chinatown. Yeah, bro just got shot in the head. The explanation is it's Chinatown. It's just what we do. Like, some people come here and get dim sum or go to one of those underground massage places, get their dick massaged. Not us. Not us. We go to Chinatown. We shoot broads in the head. Damn, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm open for I'm accepting arguments for Body Heat being a better film overall and a better neo-noir than Chinatown. I will tell you, I've seen a lot of movie posters for Chinatown over the years, and the Criterion artwork for Body Heat is way better. It's beautiful artwork. And I will say that I'm not really super familiar with the others. The Delta, let's take a look at that. Let's see if I can make this big enough to even read this shit. I got my computer so far away from me. Usually it sits in my lap, but tonight I got it hooked up to the TV because I'm running a stream, and I can't see squat. Let me move this up to the bigger monitor. Ooh. So the Delta is 1996, so it's a 30-year-old movie. Wow, that makes me feel old. I almost said, oh, it's not that old, it's 1996, but then I was like, no, shut up, you're old. The stuff from 1996 is old, and so are you. The complexities of race, class, and sexuality collide within a Memphis community in the strikingly raw debut feature from director Ira Sachs. With neo-realist immediacy, what does that mean? I have four degrees from major universities. I got a 4.0. I graduated with a 4.0. I do not know what the words with neo-realist immediacy mean. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. When you put those three words together, I have no clue. What are you trying to communicate? You might as well be talking Chinese to me right now, because I've got no idea what you're trying to communicate when you make up some, this is the shit. I love you, Criterion Collection, but don't come at me with this. Don't be putting these words together like that, because if I don't understand it, I'm going to take it as disrespect. With neorealist immediacy, the Delta tells what at first appears to be a simple love story. Two young men, Lincoln, played by Shane Gray, a closeted white teenager, and Min, by Tang Chan, a black Vietnamese immigrant. Like, how do you get more like, yo, okay, he's Vietnamese. Like, I feel like they're rolling dice with each. They're like, we're going to put some layers of minority together and unprivileged, disprivileged, whatever. We're going to put some layers together. Let's roll the dice. Okay, we roll the dice the first time. Okay, Vietnamese. All right, roll the dice the second time. Boom. Okay, he's black. Okay, roll the dice a third time. Okay, he's gay. He's gay. He's a gay black Vietnamese immigrant. He's first generation and he barely speaks the language. Everyone on planet Earth and half the people on Mars hate this motherfucker because I don't know. Why would you put those three things together? Does a person really exist like that? It's kind of blowing my mind, this movie. I don't think I'm buying this movie. I got to be honest with you. Meet at a cruising spot and embark on a nighttime journey by boat down the Mississippi River. But soon, imbalances of power and privilege emerge between them as the film develops into a devastating vision of lost, wounded souls reaching out in the dark for human connection. There's one that I am not fucking buying. 84 minutes. You want me to spend $40 on a movie that's 84 minutes long? That's against my religion, dog. The Delta. So yeah, there's imbalances in, what do they call it? Power and privilege. So yeah, obviously the gay white dude, he's a gay white dude and he's closeted so nobody knows he's gay. He privileges shit, y'all. I can't watch a film about imbalances in power and privilege. I'm sorry. That may be an unpopular thing to say at this point, this year, but I'm like, it's just nothing interests me less than imbalances of power and privilege. You start using the word privilege in a movie description and you lose me. And I'm sorry if that's a mean thing to say or a bad thing to say, but oof, can't do it. I can't do it. Then we got Fresh Kill, which I'll be honest, does kind of look a little interesting to me. Fresh Kill actually appears, I don't like the cover at all, but I like the neon vibe. 94 is a great era. A disturbingly prescient eco-feminist parable. That's, again, you're putting words together, Criterion, that I don't get. What is disturbingly prescient eco-feminist parable supposed to communicate to me? I mean, I know what a parable is. I don't know what describing a parable as prescient, I guess, means that like 32 years ago, they predicted 2026 pretty well. And eco-feminist, I'm just going to straight up have to Google that. Despite those words kind of turning me off a little bit, brainwave scrambling cyberpunk fantasia pulls me back in. You reel me back in with brainwave scrambling. I've already expressed my appreciation of psychedelics, so I'm with brainwave scrambling. Cyberpunk, I mean, rub your nipples. I love cyberpunk. Fantasia, yeah, like cyberpunk Fantasia feels like two things that really belong well together. Peanut butter and jelly. Debut feature from new media pioneer Shulia Chang merges a bold vision of resistance with an exuberant early internet aesthetic. I like early internet aesthetics. I gotta say, Fresh Kill feels like I could watch this as long as it's not too preachy about the privilege shit. There's a lesbian couple turned to the hacker underground. I like hacker undergrounds. See, they're throwing a lot of stuff in there that sounds pretty cool if you ask me. So Fresh Kill, I'm gonna keep my eyes on Fresh Kill. I might have to watch it before I buy it, or if I find a copy used or something like that. Sentimental Value, which is a Norwegian film. I don't know if you guys know, but I am a Norwegian ass mofo. So I like the fact that it's Norwegian. Joachim Trier, one of contemporary cinema's great humanists, excavates layers of history and memory, both national and personal, for this rich, ineffably moving story of one family's attempts to come to terms with generations of trauma and healing. After the death of their mother, two sisters must contend with the return home to Norway of their estranged father, celebrated filmmaker Gustav Borg, played by Stellan Skarsgård. I like the Skarsgårds. In the case of Nora, an actor, he hopes to reconnect by casting her in his new film, a project that both inflicts fresh wounds and reopens old ones, with virtuoso ensemble cast that also includes Inga Ibsdottir Lillanes and Ellie Fanning. I can say Ellie Fanning. Trier's film delicately balances each moment of humor and hurt, conducting a stunning emotional exploration of how the past echoes the present and how art can... Oh my gosh, I'm still doing a live stream. Okay. So, Sentimental Value, yeah. Lenny, I've heard good things about Lenny. Dustin Hoffman, I like it. Who said good things in the chat about Lenny? Somebody said Lenny is a good movie in this chat, and I know I saw it. Was it I blew right past it just a second ago. Anyway, Lenny could be good. I'll check out Lenny. I'll get that one on a sale. The Delta might be there for representation. I mean, it's what Criterion does. I think Criterion, obviously, they balance their collection with, some stuff is going to be a little bit more artsy and a little bit more, I don't know, art people. I went to art school. I have an art degree. I was surrounded by art people. I took all the drawing classes and painting classes with the art people. So, obviously, different strokes for different folks. And then, there's Pee-wee's Big Adventure for the retards like me. So that's good. Sigh. That description made me not want it. Don't let me talk you out of it. I mean, it might be a great movie. I just, I don't have any time for the privileged stuff these days. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm sorry, right? I'm not even saying it's wrong. I've just been beat over the head with it for the last decade, and you just lose my interest 100%. Ecofeminist, I don't know. See, the ecofeminist thing, I'm like, it depends on what they mean by ecofeminist, but cyberpunk fantasia, brain scrambling cyberpunk fantasia sounds better to me than ecofeminist sounds bad. So, I don't like the sound of ecofeminist, but man, I like the sound of cyberpunk, brain-melting cyberpunk fantasia. I will at least watch it before I decide whether I want to buy it or not. Barbed Wire is ecofeminist expression. So, if you can consider Barbed Wire eco-feminist, then I'll buy Fresh Kill. Hands down. If it's anything like Barbed Wire, I will buy Fresh Kill. Criterion is leaning into those descriptions like they are trying to live up to their own meme. Yeah, it's stereotype of being overly pretentious. Pretentious is probably a good word for some of the descriptions that Criterion puts together. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like I said, Fresh Kill was 1994. So it's long enough ago that it wasn't part of the modern trend that became very popular in the teens to, be like, ew, straight white men bad. And, gay stuff is great. And, privilege, check your privilege, white guy and stuff like that. I don't feel like there was as much of that going on in 94. Like I said, I'll still check it out. The thing from 2024, whatever year it was, that's about imbalances in power and privilege. I'm like, all right, you lost me. You lost me there a little bit, but I would tend to agree. Artsy is fine. Agenda driven, yeah, I'm not digging. Lenny, I will check out. I like I will say I like the art for Lenny as well. It's a striking image. That black and white, very high contrast. Obviously, there's super bright light above Dustin Hoffman's head. And honestly, this is going to sound bad, but the only reason you can tell it's Dustin Hoffman, A, because it says his name, but you see the profile of his face and you see the nose and you're like, that's Dustin Hoffman's, that's his nose, right? He's got a distinct profile and I feel like you would recognize him. And so it's a very striking image. It's kind of cool. I like the microphone. I like the drink in his hand. I like the very high contrast between the silhouette and the super white of the light. It does make for some very interesting photography from an artistic standpoint. This movie is from 74. Lenny is 111 minutes, spine number 1312. Director Bob Fosse's nervous, freewheeling showbiz drama tells the real-life story of taboo-shattering comedian Lenny Bruce. So, already right there, you've got me. I'm in. I'm going to buy the movie for that reason alone. Dustin Hoffman, Lenny Bruce, playing Lenny Bruce. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in. Free speech lightning rod, I'm in. I'm down. Let's see. Control F, find the word privilege. Don't see it. Okay, cool. I can buy that one. Yeah. So Lenny is in Stray Dog. I did mention Stray Dog being one of the Kurosawa films. A bad day gets worse for young detective Murakami when a pickpocket steals his gun on a crowded bus. Desperate to right the wrong, he goes undercover, scavenging Tokyo's sweltering streets for the stray dog whose desperation has led him to a life of crime. With each step, cops and criminals' lives become more intertwined, and the investigation becomes an examination of Murakami's own dark side. Starring Toshiro Mifune, we all love Toshiro Mifune as the rookie cop, and Takashi Shimura as the seasoned detective who keeps him on the right side of the law. A Stray Dog goes beyond crime thriller, probing the squalid world of post-war Japan and the nature of the criminal mind. Yeah, I'm down with that one. 1949, I'm down for Stray Dog. I will pick that one up. That's one that I never got on DVD. And I was waiting for the Blu-ray for a while, and then they stopped doing Blu-rays. And Peter Hujar's Day is not given a spine number. It's part of Criterion. Smartened up. I don't know who started this. I don't know if it was Arrow when they did Arrow Academy some years back, or if it was Vinegar Syndrome's really been popularizing it in recent years, having just a bunch of sub-labels so that you can do different stuff in each of the sub-labels. And Criterion, of course, has this, it's, what do they call it? They obviously have Eclipse. They've had Eclipse for a long time. Maybe Criterion was the first one to do the sub-label. But Criterion also has this Criterion Premieres. It's a selection of new theatrical films presented on Blu-ray and DVD, so they're not 4Ks, released in association with the Criterion channel. They don't get numbered. They're not part of the collection, but Criterion putting them out. Peter Hujar's Day is a loving snapshot of vanished New York. Director Ira Sachs's captivating cultural time capsule is a warm, witty, graceful recreation of a real-life conversation that took place between photographer Peter Hujar and writer Linda Rosenkrantz in 1974. Director's name, Ira Sachs, ought to be familiar. Ira Sachs is also the director of The Draft, the Delta, the imbalance of power and privilege. So I don't know. I can't vouch for Peter Hujar's Day. Maybe it's good, maybe it ain't. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll check it out. I'll give it a chance. You guys mostly agree with me about the Criterion release today also being, there was a lot of things going on in physical media today, but, not all of them excited me. But there might be people out there that were more excited about the Criterion releases and stuff like that. I don't know. Criterion will never release Sam Fuller's White Dog. Yeah. I don't know if they will or they won't, but they haven't yet. So why would they not release it, though? Let me ask you that. Is there a reason why they wouldn't release White Dog? I'm not familiar with the film. So if there is a reason why they would not release it, then I don't know it. And you should tell me. You should educate my dumb ass, because I ain't know. I think the other big news outside of Criterion, so Body Heat, Criterion, Wikipedia, a couple other places, they do describe Body Heat as a neo-noir. They also describe it as an erotic thriller. And I don't know if you guys are like this, but when I think erotic thriller, I think of, a genre of films that was very dominant in kind of mid-90s, very popular in the mid-90s. And, Jade, Body of Evidence, but even in the 80s too, obviously Body Heat, Body Double. There's a lot of, erotic thrillers, I think, were Basic Instinct. That was another, what was that, early 90s, 92, I think, was Basic Instinct. So I think of that kind of era, 80s, maybe later 80s, and really kind of took off with some of the big ones in the 90s. Madonna was in Body of Evidence, for Christ's sake. So with all of these erotic thrillers that are coming out, even Criterion's getting in the game. But before Criterion, Vinegar Syndrome put out Jade like 9 months ago. They recently announced Body of Evidence. Has Criterion put out any other erotic thrillers? I feel like erotic thriller is kind of Vinegar Syndrome adjacent. But then Sony put out Body Double on a nice steelbook, a very nice 4K, I don't know, a year and a half or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. I almost feel like the erotic thriller is, I mean, and there's certainly some, shared DNA, some relationship, genetic relationship between like giallo and erotic thriller. But I do feel like erotic thriller might be kind of coming up as a new physical media trend, maybe taking the place of, supplanting a little bit the giallo trend of a couple of years ago, and maybe even looking to supplant the trend of the Hong Kong cinema films. I think, at some point you run out of marketable Hong Kong films, and you've published all the giallo films that you can get your hands on, and you start looking around for other cool shit. And it feels like, I mean, with Criterion even getting in on the erotic thriller, it feels like that's like the thing to do in 2026. Maybe that should have been one of my predictions for the year. Basing Instinct. Okay, so White Dog is about a racist dog, but aren't all dogs kind of racist? I feel like dogs are kind of racist animals, if I'm being honest. I had my martial arts instructor um was a black man. I mean, he is a black man. He's still alive, and he's still black. He didn't turn white. He's a black man, and when he would I was living in Athens at UGA, and he was in Atlanta, and he would occasionally travel to Athens as well, to do like instructional stuff, teach classes and stuff like that. And we had a Labrador. It was my roommate's dog, but of course, I lived with the dog as well. And that dog, obviously, labs, they're marshmallows, right? A Labrador is like the sweetest creature on planet Earth. And we would have parties, we'd have 30 people over. And the dog never had a problem until either we had a guest at one of our parties who was black, or our martial arts instructor who was black showed up. And that dog, I mean, it's like we had to put her out in the backyard, just like, fuck off, dog. Like, quit being racist. Like, I was honestly kind of embarrassed. It wasn't even my dog. And the fact that I had a racist dog kind of embarrassed me as somebody who's like, yo, I'm just trying to get along out here. Like, I like black people. Somebody needs to tell that dog, like, I'm willing to go on the record and say, I like black people. Why is the dog barking at every black person who comes over to my apartment circa 2003? And that was a racist dog. And I don't know that all dogs are like that. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to stereotype dogs, but I kind of feel like, yeah, I feel like dogs are pretty racist. I mean, I also feel like we overlooked the fact that there were a lot of Nazi dogs. There's a lot of dog Nazis. I'm probably not supposed to say that on YouTube. There's a lot of dogs that were also, part of the bad team in World War II, is all I'm trying to say. And we overlooked that a lot because we love dogs, but, I'm not sure those dogs went to heaven. I'm not sure that the Yahtzee dogs from World War II went to heaven. They say all dogs go to heaven, but I don't know, man. I've seen some shit, is all I'm going to say, and I'm not sure those dogs have any place in the heavenly realm. Yes, I agree. Body Heat is neo-noir. I would also call it, yeah, I would also, well, I will say it is being described by people who are not me, including me, but people who are not me also. It's being described as a erotic thriller as well. So I think the two can go hand in hand. I think you can have neo-noir, like visual style. You can even have that sense of fatalism that is so prevalent in noir films, and it goes along pretty well with that like erotic drive. I think those two can be actually very good bedfellows. So I do need to rewatch Body Heat. It has been at least 25 years since I've seen Body Heat, and I'm very much looking forward to it. With cover art like that, dog, I'm looking forward to it now. My volume is kind of low, bro. Well, you're the first person who said that. I don't know. I can turn it up a little bit. A little controller here in OBS. I'm peaking like right at looks like about 20 decibels that I'm peaking at. I'm sorry, minus 20. So I don't know. I don't want to go too high on that, but I'll crank it a little bit. How's that for everybody? Did Brian just ruin it for everybody? Hello, by the way, Brian. How do you do, my friend? I hope you're well. I hope you're feeling good. Brian De Palma, he definitely got in there pretty early on. I would say he got there early on, and he definitely left his mark. He definitely left his Hold on, stay right there, I'll go get you a towel. Brian De Palma left his, oh, stay right there, hold on, I'll go get you a towel. I would say that's a lot of words, but that's definitely what he did. Now, I'm not a big fan of Giallo. I do like the Hong Kong stuff. I appreciate it when they put the Hong Kong stuff, when they say, we have a line for Hong Kong. Like, I think Shout's doing it right. Hong Kong cinema classics. This is our line of Hong Kong cinema films, and if you're a Hong Kong cinema fan, you're going to love the shit out of this. But if you're not a Hong Kong cinema fan, that's fine. We've got Scream Factory over here. Would you like to see some Scream Factory titles? Or maybe you like anime. Shout does a lot of anime. They can say, look over here. We've got anime stuff right over here. We got a whole bunch of Miyazaki shit. You can watch it with your kids. I think they're doing it right. I think the way that Vinegar Syndrome does it especially is a little frustrating because it's just all over the place. It's in their VSA line. It's in their regular VS line. They've got different stuff going on. They got Cat 3 stuff. They got Shaw Scares. It's just, it's all over, and you don't know, like, what goes with what. Where am I supposed to even put these things on a shelf? Although I do like the Hong Kong stuff. It's been kind of hard. One of the other things I wanted to mention tonight is it's been difficult keeping up with the Hong Kong Cinema Classics line from Shout. It has been, they've been like cranking them out. I'm surprised at how many they're putting out every single month. They are really cranking them out. It's been very difficult to keep up with. And I haven't, I'll be honest with you. I was at Bull Moose today, and I saw 3 there that I did not yet have. I'm like, shit, Once a Thief, Bullet in the Head, and the Big Heat, not to be confused with the other Big Heat that Criterion put out. This is a Hong Kong Chinese Big Heat, same name, totally different movie. But they had 3 of them there with slip covers, and I was like, man, I'm behind. But, you know, I got other stuff to buy. I would love to see this. I'd like to see, I mean, there are a few, you know, I feel like MVD, the MVD, what is it there? The MVD, what do they call that line? I know Chase will know. What do they call that line where it's like their rewind? I think it's like the MVD rewind line of movies, Blu-rays. I feel like that one, it's not exclusively teen sex comedies, but it's, I feel like there's a lot in there. And it's not just 80s. I guess Bikini Car Wash was early 90s, but I feel like they're pretty good for like representing that particular genre. Is there Criterion Kids? I think, you know, there's not, but maybe there should be. Maybe there should be a Criterion Kids. Because I think I would, I mean, I know that, I'm not even saying this jokingly, if Criterion did a kids line of films kind of aimed at younger, like movies that are appropriate for younger audiences, there's a lot out there. I mean, I think they could reach back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and there would be a lot of like really classic stuff that would probably satisfy the Criterion aspect of things. But then also, you know, the Hays Code was going pretty strong in the 30s and 40s, and I feel very comfortable watching, like, popping in The Thin Man or The Awful Truth with my kids around. That doesn't, I mean, they may not, they'd be like, ew, it's black and white or whatever, but, you know, once I get done beating them, they'll be like, okay, Dad, I'll watch the black and white movie. You know, I feel like I would buy Criterion Kids films just to kind of get them in. I was watching, we watched Wizard of Oz tonight. My kids had never seen Wizard of Oz before, but I've got to appreciate my 3-year-old because she's like, she'll look at me sometimes and be like, that was a really good movie. Like afterward, I showed her Spirited Away a couple of weeks ago, and she woke up the next morning and she said, that movie we watched last night was really good. Like the first words out of her mouth. And so, yeah, she said that about The Wizard of Oz tonight too. My 3-year-old was like, that was a really cool movie. Awesome. So I'm trying to, like, obviously I'm a film guy. I like film. I want my kids to enjoy the same shit, and I don't want them to just watch like Cam and Ben. Like, the fact is, my kid knows who Mr. Beast is. She doesn't know who Judy Garland is. And yeah, so maybe my kid's not a 30-year-old gay guy. Maybe she shouldn't know who Judy Garland is, but I think she should know who Judy Garland is. It's Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. So I'm trying to educate her, and I'm doing my best to compete with Mr. Beast. But a Criterion Kids line, honestly, I could see myself buying those because it would give me It would give me the opportunity to like continue to expose my kids to shit that's not YouTube slop content. It's all slop content. We don't let them watch. I mean, I try not to let them watch YouTube for that very reason. It's just all. It's just if it's not some groomer trying to like groom your kids to kidnap them and abduct them, then it's like, it's just brain rot. It's slop content that's just going to rot their brains. Batman Begins is an excellent film. I haven't watched Batman Begins in a long time. I don't own it on 4K. I've been waiting for like, a really kind of snazzy release. They recently released that Steelbook box set, and I might have to see if I can find that because I don't have a 4K. And Batman Begins is a great movie. I think they really sold me on like Bruce Wayne training with ninjas in the Himalayas. And I went from 6 to midnight. You start putting words together. Like words that turn me off is like imbalances of power and privilege. I'm just totally flaccid. But you start saying Bruce Wayne trains with ninjas in the Himalayas, and I'm like, I'm back. I'm back. I didn't even need an Italian sandwich, and I'm back. I'm ready to go again. Batman Begins is excellent for that reason. Yo, Brian. It might be a hot take, but I'm with you. Do you want to know what De Palma's worst movie is? Scarface. It's Scarface. It is Scarface. Body Double, I think I might like Body Double best. I'm also one of those guys like I'm not a huge De Palma guy. I think, he's all right. I don't think he's bad. He's hit or miss for me. And Body Double is definitely like, it's a hit. Scarface is like a big miss, dog. That's I don't like Scarface very much at all. That's a terrible movie. So yeah, I'm happy to co-sign on Body Double being his best work. I don't know what else I would put up there. Blowout is good. I like Blowout. What else do I like that's Brian De Palma? I'm not even sure. I don't know. I am live. Scarface, awful movie. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. The only part I like about that movie is her womb. I like that. I don't like the say goodnight to the bad guy. I don't like that part. That part is like, obviously it's been like overplayed and overquoted and a whole bunch of stuff. But the part where he's like, her womb, and he's just like, she's sitting right there and he's talking to his homeboy right over here. And he's just like dogging her, and she's hearing it, and she's thinking like, fuck you, Tony, fuck you, Tony, fuck. He's just like, he's like figurative. It's like the figurative cigarette or cigar that he's like putting out on her leg or whatever, on her inner thigh. And she's just, her womb is so polluted. I love that line. That is the only redeeming quality of Scarface. Otherwise, not a Scarface fan. It's a pretty awful movie, except for her womb is so polluted. I love that part of the movie. Carrie. Okay, Carrie was good. All right, thank you, Dr. Zeus. The doctor has blessed us. I forgot about Carrie. Carrie is good. I like Carrie. The original Carrie. I saw the remake with what's her name? What's that girl's name? She was in the remake. I saw bits and pieces of that one, and I wasn't a huge fan. It was all right, but wow, okay. Yeah, Scarface is anal discharge. And we're not even talking about like normal poop. We're talking about like you've got some kind of infection, right? I'm going to try not to imagine that visually, like what that looks like, because that feels kind of gross. Okay. I think that's a pretty solid top 3, and I don't think you're going to get a lot of argument for making that like this is my De Palma trilogy, and when I feel like watching a De Palma movie, I reach for one of those 3. Nobody around here, nobody in these parts is going to argue with you about that. Oh my God. I don't know what I would do if you did that. I would have to do something funny with those, though. Like, I couldn't just like burn them, I couldn't just throw them in a dumpster. I'd have to fill them with like a white powder simulating cocaine, and then like throw them on like kids' playgrounds at night So the next day, people find them and they're like just filled with white powder. And people are like, oh my God, that Scarface VHS is filled with cocaine. I'm a little, I have to admit, I've seen a lot of these Excalibur 4Ks around, and I am a little jelly. If I'm being honest, I'm a little jelly to see all those Excalibur 4Ks. I haven't pre-ordered it yet though. It's like $38, and I'm like, I feel like I could get those for maybe 32 or 33. So I'm kind of holding out, waiting to save. Yeah, I'm holding out for $5. I'm a cheapskate. What do you want from me? If I can save $5 100 times over the course of this year, then I've saved $500, and I can take that $500 and I can buy $500 worth of Scarface VHSs, which is approximately 3,000 Scarface VHSs. And yeah. I kind of feel like that might be what turned me off of Scarface, actually, was like that era. Every single, like, it just felt like a very uneducated, like, yo, Scarface is my favorite movie. Why? Well, the guy does a lot of drugs and kills people. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, doing drugs and shooting people is pretty cool. And I don't know. I felt like it was just, like, people were idolizing it in, like, a real, like, non-ironic way. And I just turned me off a little bit. I'm like, that's kind of yucky, though. Like, he's not a good guy. And I feel like the message of Scarface is shitty, too. Because the only reason Tony Montana gets killed at the end is because he refused to kill a wife and child. Like, he didn't want to blow up the car once the wife and kid got in the car. He was okay killing the dude and making the wife a widow and the child fatherless. But as soon as the wife and kid got in there, it sort of struck a chord with him because he wanted to have a baby himself with Elvira. Elvira, what a name. Michelle Pfeiffer. But her womb was so polluted, he couldn't have the little baby. He'd want to blow up a little baby. So Tony Montana does one decent thing in his entire life, and he gets killed for it. So the entire empire that he puts together, through all of the crime, all of the murder, all of the vice, everything, think of all the people he hurt. None of that is what took him down. What actually winds up getting him killed is the one decent thing, the one semi-decent thing he decides to do is what gets him killed. And so I think ultimately I object to the fact that, you know, he dies because he refused to kill a kid. Like, I don't know. Refusing to kill a child, I feel like that's just basic humanity, you know? Don't even, Adam, if you're still here, don't even mention it, all right? I know what you're thinking. Don't say it. If you're still here, Adam. The chainsaw scene? Yeah, I remember my whole childhood. I remember I had a friend, I was friends with in like elementary school, middle school. I'd go over there for sleepovers and stuff. And I remember one time we were like, yo, to his mom, we're like, we need to see Scarface. And she was like, the what? We must have been like, I don't know, 10, 12. We were somewhere in that 10 to 12 range where it's like, yo, I'm an adult now. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have pubic hair pretty soon, maybe a year or two. I'm almost a man. I need to see Scarface. And we're both like, yo, can we rent Scarface? And she was like, fuck no, you can't, you little son of a bitch. You haven't even had your bar mitzvah yet, you little bastard. And so we did not. She was like, you can't watch Scarface. And the reason is there's a chainsaw scene, and it is horrific and disturbing. So when I finally got around, I don't know, 16, 17 years old, a couple years later, when I finally got around to watching Scarface and the chainsaw scene, I was like, that's not even that bad. I remember being unimpressed, but I think it's because my friend's mom oversold the shit out of it. She's like, it's horrific. You'll have nightmares till the end of time. It's not appropriate. Okay. All right. I was not expecting 3 discs. Why 3 discs? Are there multiple versions of the film? Someone educate me. I have Excalibur on a DVD from 2001, and I'm just looking forward to the 4K. And I would expect 2 discs because, you know, they might have a Blu-ray that contains all the extras like they did with A Fistful of Dollars. But yeah, 3 disc set, I can see charging a bit more. again, I don't 38's just a lot for a an Arrow chunky box. So I'm looking forward to that. Lionsgate is going to put it out, not as a steelbook though, which is a little disappointing, but we'll see what they wind up doing with it. Lionsgate Limited. Oh, those Arrow 3-disc sets though, they go fast. Yeah, I hope I don't get effed on that one, but I'm just waiting for it to get cheaper. And maybe that's a bad choice on my part, but we'll see. MC Slipbox. I don't even, that might be better than Hollywood Hardbox. MC Slipbox. MC Slipbox. Okay, I do like Push It to the Limit. I'm not completely against the soundtrack to Scarface. I like Push It to the Limit. I do. I like Push It to the Limit. When I'm listening to a playlist of like 80s shit from like movies, like 80s tracks, like famous 80s soundtrack tracks, and Push It to the Limit comes on, I don't skip it. I listen to Push It to the Limit. Yeah, he was oddly possessive of his sister, but honestly, we all know Scarface was a remake of a 1932 film with the same name. Criterion put out a 4K of that film, the original Scarface. I also have an old DVD, a non-Criterion from 20 years ago, at least 20 years ago. And I recently showed it to my wife. I don't know, I say recently, but it was probably 6 years ago or whatever. I showed it to my wife, and rewatching it then, it was remarkable, like how, I mean, I shouldn't say close, but because it was a film from 1932, it was like literally 50 years later that they made Scarface, and they could get away with a lot more. There was no chainsaw scene, for instance, in the 1932 Scarface version, but the whole sister dynamic, he was kind of similarly, they couldn't be quite as like open with that strange kind of Freudian thing in 1932, but the sister thing was definitely there. The sister angle was there, which I thought was weird, because like his sister was not, I wouldn't bone. If that was my sister, and I don't have sisters, but if that was my sister, I don't think I would have boned her. I forget Liam Neeson's in there. I do remember Helen Mirren, but I do forget that Liam Neeson's in that bitch. But yeah, Excalibur. I'm looking forward to rewatching that one. It's probably been like 20 years since I've seen that one. It's been a long ass time since I've seen Excalibur. I like that one. The chainsaw was polluted. What up, William Driver, 1959? Was that the year that you were born? William Driver, 1959. What is good? I do have the Excalibur DVD snap case. If it was within arm's reach, I would grab it and show you. I'll take a picture of it, Brian. I'll send you like a picture of the Excalibur snapper case with my penis also in the picture for scale, so you can have an idea of how big that DVD snap case really is. It's huge. Excalibur is a great movie. It is. It is. Two versions of the film. Okay, that's what I was wondering. If you've got 3 discs, then you need to have 2 versions of the film. Are they both in 4K? Are both versions 4K? Because Arrow is usually pretty good about that. They did that for Life Force for us, which was much appreciated. And so, yeah, 2 versions of the film, a new documentary. Is that a feature-length documentary or even like 30 or 45 minutes? That's pretty cool. 12 hours of new extras. 93-year-old director. Interview with the 93-year-old director. Okay. All right, Excalibur is definitely worth picking up. I don't know. Maybe I've never paid more than $34, I think, for an Arrow chunky box. I got the mask for $34. So I hate to break a tradition, a long-running tradition that has served me well. Oh, with the exception of probably the Conan box, because that was 2 movies, and the TMNT box was $58 or whatever. But the single film chunky boxes, I've never paid more than $34 for. So I don't know. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. How do you feel about how Johnny Depp got railroaded? My younger brother today tried to tell me Johnny Depp was also a piece of shit. I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, definitely, I feel like Amber Heard definitely kind of got him a little bit. Like, I told him, I was like, F that B, Europe can have her. I don't care about Amber Heard. I don't think the stream's womb is not polluted. The stream's womb is not polluted, which is too bad because I'd like to pollute some wombs. Edward G. Robinson, see, that is one thing I love about Dr. Seuss, amongst many things that I love about Dr. Seuss. But one of the many things I love about Dr. Seuss is his knowledge of older films. Is very, very good. He can like tell you about a film from the 1930s in a drop of a hat, even without the internet to help him. I still keep finding Snapper DVDs that are the final form of the film. Yeah, that is unfortunate when um, movies are still locked on DVD. But, you know, I was thinking about folks who collect older formats, you know, not 4K formats, formats that are previous generations. And a DVD makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I have to say VHS doesn't make as much sense simply because, and this is not an insult, Brian. I love you. I love you very much. I hold you in very high regard, and I'm very proud to call you my friend. But the VHS makes a little less sense to me because the players are no longer manufactured. I think that's really the big thing right now for me for VHS. If they were making VHS players still, and I could go to Target with $100 and come home with a brand new VHS player, and then confidently put my VHS in it, and it wouldn't eat them alive, I think it would be a little bit of and it would have like an HDMI out or something so that it could connect to modern televisions. I think the problem with VHS that I have is that because of the video out ports, being as they are very old at this point, you know, you need an older TV that will accept those in. And then also you're dealing with a 20-plus-year-old VHS player. And who knows if this thing is going to just like chew up all of your VHS. And they can be quite expensive because, you know, if you're trying to get a nicer VHS player, you're having to buy it in a secondary market. And scarcity is a bitch when it comes to prices. So DVD makes a lot of sense to me, though, because every 4K player out there will play a DVD. So you can still go to Target or Walmart with $100 and get a Blu-ray player that will accept any DVD you put in it. So you can still watch. You can go to Goodwill and you can get $2 DVDs. And while that's not really my jam, I would much rather watch the film in 4K where available. The key phrase is where available. There are so many movies that are still stuck on DVD. So when it comes to something like Sleepaway Camp, there's some cool like Sleepaway Camp box sets on DVD that are very desirable for collectors, for completionists, but I would much rather watch Sleepaway Camp on 4K. I have the 4Ks. Why wouldn't I watch the 4Ks? But when it comes to a film that's never been released outside of DVD, DVD being as popular as it was 20 years ago, it was huge. I mean, everything was getting a DVD release because it was pre-streaming. You couldn't just rent things on your television through Apple or your Apple TV. You know, you actually needed a physical copy, whether you were renting it or buying it for good. You actually had to put in a physical copy of the thing on disc. So, you know, DVD just kind of got everything, and it was a byproduct of the time. You know, the technology, the internet, just being pre-streaming, and, you know, DVD was just so huge. I think there's a lot of stuff that may never see Blu-ray or 4K releases, and so that's why it makes a lot of sense to me to collect DVD still. If you're going to collect older formats, I think that one, I think that one's a good one because you can make a really good case for it, being still very current, and also you can get stuff that you can't get on Blu-ray or 4K yet. Yeah, good point. I mean, that's another reason why 4K is superior, because you get crystal clear resolution. And that's what you want. You want really crisp. You want things to be really crisp. You don't want things to be blurry in porn. I'm trying to see what's going on. I want to take a real clinical view, and you know, I'm trying to diagnose somebody based on the external appearance of their genitals. So, come on, let me see that thing. Okay, the TV version is on Blu-ray. The TV version of Excalibur is on Blu-ray. I can accept that. I'm not thrilled about that. I'd rather that be 4K, but you know what? What's complaining going to do? It's not going to do him any good, so. Jeff thinks Excalibur makes it to the next Arrow sale. I'll tell you what I do with Arrow, because unlike Vinegar Syndrome, Amazon does sell Arrow limited editions, chunky boxes and otherwise. I take all of the Arrow films that I want, and I add them to my cart. So every time I open my Amazon cart, I can see all of the Arrow movies. And the price is right there, as you know. If you use Amazon, you can watch the price fluctuate. Amazon even has that like little box at the top that will tell you which items in your cart have changed price up or down. So usually what I'll do is I'll just park them all there. I'll uncheck everything. And then, every time I log into Amazon for whatever reason, I'll just go look at prices. I'll see how they fluctuated up and down. And I'll usually catch them when they're on the downswing. Prices kind of do this on the Arrows. And if you've seen the prices kind of fluctuate and you sort of know what you want to pay for a chunky box, as soon as you see it hit $32, boom. And then sometimes they'll have like the buy two, get one free, or buy one, get second at 50% off. And oftentimes Arrows are on there too. Like I got Spawn, I think I got Spawn and maybe one other Arrow as like a threesome. And I want to say I paid like $22 for Spawn, brand new, 4K, limited edition. I mean, who's going to complain about that price? I think Arrow's got the best prices out there, and they got damn good restorations. So I think for what you get and what you pay, Arrow is the best value boutique. Criterion's great too. Kino, okay. You get good prices on them, at least at Barnes & Noble, but I don't think anything's beating Arrow for that balance of quality with really excellent price, even for like very new. Like I got the Mask when it was like 2 weeks old. I mean, it'd been out for like 2 weeks and I still got it for $34 or $33. So how are you going to complain about that? With Vinegar Syndrome, on the other hand, I have to wait like 9 months or a year before the damn thing goes on sale just to save $15 because I'm that big of a psycho. So yes, Dr. Zeus, you do know your film history, and you get a lot of my respect for that, for sure. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. I used to have a pair of underwear. It was like a pair of boxers that had that on it. It had the little, the Dr. Seuss drawings of the fish. They were black, and they had the red fish and the blue fish on them. And they used to say, like, around the fish, it'd say one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, all over the underwear. And those were popular for some reason. I don't get it, but other human beings would like it when I was wearing those undies, my ladies at the time. They did enjoy that. Those underwears are long gone, though. I mean, you can't keep underwear for 20 years, guys, and if you try, it's pretty yucky. You got to get rid of them after a while. You got to rotate that stable of underwears. Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. Charitable contributions. I want to know what charities that you're contributing to. Brad, what charities are you donating money to in 2026? I think that's going to be educational. Okay, so I have heard, of course, about HDMI adapters for older video out cables. Because I own a GameCube, obviously. That is the reason. I've also heard bad things, though, that, yes, the adapter allows you to hook the player up to the television, and it will display an image on the screen, but I have heard that the resulting image is not fantastic. So that's really the thing that gives me pause. I also think VHS looked good on a CRT TV, because it was like 420p, like I think about the television that my parents bought in like 1988, and I'm sure they paid like, I don't know, $2,000 for it in 1988 money, because it was like one of those big wooden cabinet things. It was this giant, like 4,000 pound, like it weighed more than the car. It weighed more than the wood paneled station wagon that was parked in the driveway. But those TVs, they were like 420p, right? Or they were 420i. They were like interlaced and shit like that. And I think, when you're playing, when they're synced up, like, yeah, your VHS is 420i and your TV is 420i, then it's like you don't have any weird artifacts. Like you watch a DVD on a nice, like a nice 4K television, and you can see, like, it's pretty obvious. I think DVD looked better on my 2003 Toshiba. That was something like 720p or whatever that thing topped out at. I think, I think when you've got like a really modern television and a really old, I just feel like you can see some of like all of a sudden the resolution is there, the screen size is there. And then you take this like 420 thing and like stretch it out over 4K pixels. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see it. Like, this is not good anymore. It's stretched a little too much. It's pulled a little too much. And, you could really kind of see some of the lack of information becomes very big and very, like, your eyes can appreciate it at that point. Yeah, I can appreciate that. It does take like a Buddhist's patience for sure, for me to wait. And, sometimes the saving is not much, but, sometimes the savings are like $15. And like I said, at scale, that's really where it becomes very compelling. Although next year, my resolution for 2027 is subscribe to Vinegar Syndrome. I'll do the subscription next year, I think. And then I won't have to wait. I can just use my subscriber discount and spend way too much money, and my wife will yell at me and say these movies suck dick anyway, and I'll be like, no, they don't. Haven't you seen Blood Tracks? And she'll say, yes, I saw Blood Tracks, and I almost killed myself. It was a piece of shit. And I'll be like, what are you even talking about? I don't even know you. Just kidding. My wife's got a pretty good taste in movies. I can't complain too much. Chunky Box. Mid-level D-bag. How you doing there, buddy? Oh, shit. We are joined by a physical media god. Everybody stop what you're doing. Put down your beverages. We have been joined by a physical media god. Nothing less. And I mean like the Olympian sense, but that also means that children are springing from his head and he's dicking down all the mortals. This is a physical media god. He is a chunky box lover, and he bestows upon us the chunky boxes. We got to thank him for the chunky boxes. We will remember to suck it. All of us. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. He's a legend. That's all I can say. He's a legend. I presume you're talking about mid-level douchebag being a legend and not the Ridley Scott motion picture that Arrow released some years back. Yeah, I could do the mid-year. And depending on how squirrely I'm feeling at the moment, if Vinegar Syndrome has a really hot year and I want to see what's up with Black Friday, if I'm hyped about November releases, I could do the mid-year VS subscription. I want to hang with mid-level douchebag in real life. Come on up to Maine, buddy. We'll hang in real life. We'll go to Bull Moose. We'll bless them with your presence. It'll be pretty amazing. Because it is Friday the 13th, one of the things that I had on my agenda for this evening was I've really discussed everything that I've made notes of so far, but one thing that I did want to do, I had originally toyed with the idea of maybe doing a full feature-length live commentary for a Friday the 13th movie. For the last 3 Friday the 13ths, I have done so. That's stretching all the way back to 2023, I believe, because I did both of the ones in maybe 24. But regardless, for the last couple of years, I've been doing, every time a Friday the 13th rolls around in real life, I've been doing a live commentary. Now, it was a little short notice. I was trying to wrangle Brian and Chase to kind of like come join me a little bit. I mean, I can talk by myself for 2 hours too, but I was trying to like wrangle them in and get them in. And also it's February. I was like, man, I don't, it's the wrong month for Friday the 13th, frankly. I mean, I'll still I'll still pass out watching a Friday the 13th movie tonight, but it's still the wrong month, I think, for Friday the 13th. It's a summer camp series of films. I think you got to watch Friday the 13th in the summertime. Maybe you could get away with September if you're watching Jason Goes to Hell. But regardless, February just doesn't feel right for Friday the 13th. Now, lucky for all of us, the last few years, there have been a lot of, fan-made Friday the 13th films that are widely available, free of copyright, that I should not get in any trouble for broadcasting without a cover. I guess we're about to find out if the stream is about to get yanked or not. Spoiler alert, I'm about to play something, and we'll see if we get yanked. This might be the end, that I should say goodnight and thank you all. I love you very much, all of you, for hanging out. I am going to watch, it's by the guys who did Never Hike Alone. This one I think is called like Never Hike in Winter. I'm just gonna hit it. I'm just gonna hit it, and let's check it out. I'm gonna see if the volume is okay. I'm gonna move my camera around a little bit, but I don't think YouTube is gonna yell at me for this, because this is one of those things that's like not copyrighted. It's like one of those things where it's like free, and it's only a half hour long, guys, so it's not even that long. But it's called Never Hike. So it's like Friday the 13th. It's not an official Friday the 13th media, but see if that is too loud or not loud enough. Let me know if you can hear that. But I will say that the production value of this, for being like a fan-made film, is actually quite nice. And I was pretty impressed with it. They even got, what's his name back for Tommy Jarvis? Tom, fudge, what's his last name? Tom something. And obviously we've got some nice, like, I like the winter. Again, it's this is like the only piece of even Friday the 13th Jason adjacent media that is set in the winter. But you have to think Jason's out there, especially at the point in time that he's a zombie from 6 on. He's a zombie. He doesn't need to eat or sleep or defecate. You just got to think he just exists to kill. And so, if he's out and about in January and he happens across you, you got to think that he's probably going to murder people in the wintertime too. You also have to think that people are going to go hiking and camping and stuff in the wintertime as well. So he should have ample opportunity at victims during the winter. We just never see that in the Friday the 13th movies proper, because they're always just set in the summer. But this one is clearly set in the wintertime. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the production value of this too much. It's just really pretty impressive, actually. Tom Sizemore, not Tom Sizemore. No. Not Tom Sizemore. It's a different Tom. It's Tom. Come on, Chase. Oh, what's his name? I agree. Friday the 13th feels summertime. Yeah, so I can't do it in February. I got to do it in the summertime. I'll do one next month. There's a Friday the 13th in March as well. I'll do one in March. We'll do part 4 in March, but I just figured I want to watch something Friday the 13th related, so why not check this one out. And I had watched Never Hike Alone. I think this is the prequel to Never Hike Alone. Never Hike Alone is feature length. That's something like 80 minutes, 85 minutes. This is only like 30 minutes. This is like television episode length. And I love that Jason's killing this dude with the same damn bow and arrow set that I was using at a Boy Scout camp when I was 12. It's not a very Diesel-looking bow and arrow. It's not like a compound bow that looks all like Diesel, tap out, affliction, It's just this little bow and arrow I used when I was 12. The axe, though, on the other hand, the axe is a little bit more intimidating than rinky-dink Fisher-Price ass bow and arrow. And spoiler alert for you guys watching at home, he takes this dude out. He takes this dude out with the axe, and it's about to happen here in the next 10 seconds or so. He takes his dude out with the axe in a very gruesome fashion, and they really impressed me with this. They really impressed me with the production value here. I mean, he gets him right in the face. You get a nice little blood splatter, but then this, like, he's got the axe through the mouth, and that's a pretty gnarly shot right there. We get, like, the camera's obviously kind of panning out, like zooming out, and, you know, he's still kind of alive, like gargling, and that's pretty gnarly, like kind of twitching and moving, and, you know, blood just kind of, you have to appreciate the snow for, like, the mise-en-scène, too, because, you know, blood hits the snow. It's like Quentin Tarantino did it in Kill Bill. But very effective for a horror film. If you're going to have, like, buckets of blood gushing out of a victim, it kind of makes sense to set the thing in the snow. I will say that this is a little bit weird watching Jason use technology. Like, he sort of acknowledges it in a way that feels weird for Jason. You know, he opened the guy's trunk. Like, that's not Jason's car. He opened the guy's trunk. It is like Jason, I think, to kill people and then to, like, stage the bodies different ways. I think in part 2, you know, he used a trap to catch that guy, got him up by his ankle, and then slit his throat, and then left him hanging there for the girl to find him. Never hike in the snow. There we go. It's Friday the 13th fan film, which is why I'm assuming that YouTube is not going to yank my ass for showing you this completely uncovered, but I guess we'll find out
Chief?
what YouTube winds up doing
What's the
to
word?
me for it.
Car's registered
Still
to
up
a
as of
Diana
right
Hill.
now, so
Her son Mark took the car this
hell
morning.
yeah.
Supposed to pick her up from
I'm
work.
just far too rebellious with
shit.
YouTube to ever be successful at this
Chief,
in
he's
any
only
real
17.
sense.
Jesus.
In any sense that my
What'd you
wife will
tell
ever
her?
respect. I'm
Just
far
found
too
the car.
rebellious. I'm just like, whatever, I'm just going to show this shit to you with no
Good.
cover, and we'll see what they do about it.
Guess I'll head over there and deliver the news.
There is a
gonna
scene
say?
coming up where Jason, like, he uses a
Just that her son is
digital
missing.
camera.
I
You know,
think
the
that's
kid was
enough for
doing
now,
the,
don't you?
it was,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if he was taking video or still images or what, but, you know, he was using the
What about
camera
report? Don't worry about
before
it.
Jason
I'll
killed
take care of
murdered
it
him.
in the morning.
And there's a scene where Jason kind
else
of
I should
he
do here?
interacts with technology a little bit
Yeah.
more. Obviously, the original Friday the
You still
13th
carry
movies
that
that we
road
love
salt
so
in your
much are from the
trunk?
80s, so that
Sir,
they
I
didn't
do.
have digital
Good.
cameras for
Round up all of
Jason to
this
fuck with
business.
back then. But they had cars
Spread the
back
salt
then. We
over
didn't
the
see
blood.
Jason, like,
I don't want anybody
operating a
finding this
trunk
tomorrow morning.
to put a body in
Sir,
or
this
to
is
get
an
something
active
out. I
crime
mean, he
scene.
really, he almost seems,
I have everything
you know, because
I
he's
need
such a
for my
rural
report.
slasher, like he's always
Why
out in
don't
the
you just
woods.
do
He's
what I
this, like,
asked
force of
and then
nature.
beat it?
Really doesn't, it's not that he doesn't
Sir?
respect technology, but it's that he's just like, he's above it almost. He's part of the natural world, and as we see in so many of the Friday the 13th, like, he's indifferent to these, like, creations of man. I think part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, somebody's got like a camcorder, you know, real primitive, you know, analog, but camcorder nonetheless. They're not like shooting 8mm, but they're doing like, it's late enough in the 80s, I guess, that like, oh yeah, height is a thing, and you know, this kid
hon.
maybe has a
Gonna be a late night.
camcorder with a
I'll see you in
VHS
the morning.
tape, and so I think there's a little bit
Love
of
you.
that aesthetic, and he might get caught on
Send.
camera, but again, he ignores it. He's not like playing his own kills back like he does here later. It's weird to see him as zombie Jason too. He's obviously in this film, in this fan film, he's made up to look like zombie Jason. He's got that like gray skin. So Tom Matthews, thank you, Kevin Schmidt. Tom Matthews, it is Tom Matthews. I forgot. That makes me feel like a bad fan, but oh well. Yeah, he did kill a pregnant woman in part 3. I wonder why they included that little detail. Like, they put it in the dialogue. She wasn't showing. She was obviously very early in her pregnancy, and she was hanging out with a lot of people smoking and drinking. It was funny. It's part of the dialogue when they're like on their way to the camp that weekend. She's like, oh yeah, you know, I can't have anything to drink because I'm totally pregnant.
Diana
Yay, we're
Hill?
pregnant. And then, you know, she just gets
Sheriff
killed by
Rick
Jason,
Cologne.
which just seems to
Is this
add
about Mark? Do you have any
a little bit
information?
to like the
you have
fucked
a
up
place we can sit
nature
down
of
and
that,
talk for a minute?
that Jason kills her. It's like, you also kind of
Sure.
aborted
Right
that
this way.
pregnancy a little bit by killing the mom. They sort of did double there. you know, the Friday the 13th movies avoid that taboo of harming children. He attempts to harm young Tommy Jarvis in part 4.
But I have the unfortunate
he
duty
grabs
of
him, he
letting
tackles
you
him,
know
tries to
that
pull him
your
out of the
son
window
is
at one
missing.
point. He clearly intends to harm Tommy Jarvis in part 4, but you know, there's that scene in part 6 where he walks through the cabin and all the kids are sleeping, and maybe there's the sense that he would have begun harming those kids, but he didn't have the opportunity. Like, he heard the counselor and he went after her instead. But that seems like kind of convenient because, you know,
Yes, of course.
Jason usually is just kill, 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 and then go after the next person. He doesn't usually say, okay, I'm not going to kill these because I'd rather kill that. He usually just kills everybody. But they've done a pretty good job in the Friday the 13th movies of showing him not harming children. It's a taboo that would make it a lot harder for me, at least personally, to stomach.
Thank you.
It would be difficult to watch
What you doing today?
one of your favorite slasher villains start chopping up 8-year-olds. It's pretty, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow.
Found some woods. I go explore.
Well, where are they?
Listen,
But he did, I guess, by killing that woman in part 3, he did prevent that particular pregnancy.
Never gonna happen.
Or at least he stopped it early. She was pregnant, so
it's snowing. I gotta go.
he stopped
I
it
need you to
earlier.
pick me up at the hospital at 3.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, William Driver.
Yeah.
I agree. I like the look
Be
of Jason
careful.
in this one.
Always. Love you. Gotta go.
I think because it's a fan-made film, you know, there's a lot of like love that goes
Was he with
into.
anyone?
I mean, even
Did
for
he
a
have anything
half-hour
with him?
short, it's good. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, like, this
He
looks
hasn't really had a chance. to
nice.
make
I've
any
seen
friends
a
yet.
lot worse coming from Vinegar
He had
Syndrome
his
for
camera bag.
$35.
That's where
um,
he was going to
you
take
know,
photos.
This does wind up
He's a
looking
great
pretty good.
photographer.
And they got Tom Matthews back. I
don't
don't
know
know
if
where
that
he shows up, but
Sure, it helps.
I'm told
Gives us
he's in
something to look
this.
for.
I was watching
So
it today
it's
and I
just
didn't
the
see
two
him,
of you?
but I also was
Mark's
doing
father
other
left before he
things
was
as I
born.
was watching. So,
It's always been just the two of us.
I see.
can you guys hear this?
Diana,
Can you
would
guys
you
hear that? I
mind
mean, I
if I took a
just want to make sure the
around
volume is not
Mark's room?
too loud or
Why?
not too soft either. Holler at me if you have a problem with the audio of the
It might
video that I'm
give us something
showing.
that would lead us to him. A clue.
Yes. Last Movie Standing does. Well, I think we're all a bit
Breadcrumbs.
intimidated by mid-level douchebaggery. It's just hard to be in the presence of greatness and not feel a little
Yeah, when
bit
we first moved here, I thought we were
intimidated
finally
by
safe.
it. He used to heart my comments on his channel, not
Just get
anymore.
So scared
Well,
in the city.
he may have blocked you. I don't know. I certainly haven't. I'm afraid of the repercussions. If I were to
Be out
block
for
you,
hours of the night with his
I'm
camera.
worried about what might happen to me, that I might be disappeared at some point,
That's
or
like
just
a
really
friend.
suffer bad
Relax.
fortune. Like I'll start paying $45 for Aero Chunky boxes or something. So I dare not fuck with the
Sheriff?
mid-level douchebag.
Yes?
Did you find anything?
No, I'm afraid not.
I'm guessing the audio is fine on
Let me take this. Hold on.
the video.
Go for cologne. Alan, calm down. What is going on? He did what?
I could check it this way.
Sure. What's going on?
Something's come up across town that requires my attention. I'll have my office call you in the morning with updates. Ms. Hill,
That's there.
I promise you, we are
Okay.
going to do everything within our power to find your boy.
That's not terrible.
If you
That audio's
need
all right.
anything else from me,
Making sure.
call me directly.
It doesn't sound the same coming out of OBS as it does coming out of YouTube, so
Thank you, Sheriff.
No need to thank me. Just doing my job.
thank you, Holland One. I don't think, for free entertainment that's on YouTube. Again, I'll throw a link to because I'm not trying to steal from these people. I'm not trying to plagiarize their work. I do want to cite my sources appropriately for this video. I will put a link to the YouTube channel, for this video. I'll put it up so that you guys can go back and check. I did rip this, and so it's like 720. It's actually pretty low quality, my rip of this. And so if you go to their actual YouTube page for this short film, the quality is a lot better than what I'm displaying here. And it's just, size, and I'm over here streaming without, streaming through Wi-Fi and not wanting to bog my shit down. So yeah, it's actually not too bad. Wait till you see Jason with the digital camera at his mother's head shrine. Because they bring back the Jason's mom, the Pamela Voorhees head shrine, which I do like. It makes me wonder when they show her grave in part 4. It says Pamela Voorhees at rest, you know, and makes you wonder if they got the head back and then buried the head with the body, or if it's just the body down there. Is the head still rolling around? You don't really see the head after part 2. You know, you see the shrine that he's got to his mama in part 2. That's a pretty big aspect of the story, is like Jason's little shack out in the woods. But you never see it again after part 2. You know, you never see him return to his shack in part 3. None of the characters return to his shack in part 3. Part 4, they don't. Part 5, he's obviously not in that movie. Presumably by part 5, it's years later, and, you know, whatever physical trace remained of Jason Voorhees, they would have torn it down. So I'm guessing they buried his mama's head, at least at that point, but I can't imagine his mama's head was buried in part 4, because it occurs the next day after part 3, and part 3 occurs the next day after part 2, and in part 2, her head was still sitting there on a table. So I don't know. I don't think they think about the continuity of the Friday the 13th films very much. Here's Homeboy with his digital camera. I think this was made in 2019. It's fairly modern. And he does manage to get an image of Jason kind of coming out at him. And there's Jason just using a digital camera at the shrine for his mama's head, which is just, it's odd seeing Jason use a digital camera. Like I said, it's a little off-putting seeing him interact with modern technology, which is weird. Yeah, Pamela Voorhees. She was just, she was like, I'm trying to make some money. Fuck all of y'all. It's 1979, and I need to make a car paint.
Come to mommy. Come to mommy.
It was weird watching Jason Voorhees use a digital camera.
Good Jason.
But even Zombie Jason, because it looks like this is Zombie Jason, even Zombie Jason has the weird sort of hallucinations of his mom. He's still experiencing the psychosis that he dealt with when he was alive. Here we go. We get some more makeup effects. This looks practical. That's another thing you got to appreciate about a fan-made film, is they're probably going to shoot on location, because they don't have a warehouse to build sets and stuff like that, or at least somewhat limited for those resources. And then like the gore and stuff, those effects, at least 50-50 tend to be practical. Like when the guy got the axe in the mouth, that did appear to be like a practical effect, a makeup effect, and all that blood in the snow did appear to be not real blood, but like actually there. Practical effects. Although there's a guy who gets his head blown off in another 2 minutes here, and that is not a practical effect. That is computer generated, because it's a head explosion.
Get after him!
So. Yeah, this is associated, William, this is associated with Never Hike Alone. It's like the same people. I don't think I've seen Never Hike Alone 2 either.
You're
And I
making a
think
big mistake, Sheriff. Cuff him.
now that I
Don't act
see
like
the
you don't know
words
what's going on. What are you talking
Hike
about?
Alone
You don't
2
know? Why don't you ask Rick the Dick?
back to back
That's
there,
enough.
and
He's still
this
out
could
here,
just be
Sheriff.
the IPA
He's still out
talking,
here.
but
Get him out of here.
I
This is the
feel
sickest
like
shit doing
Macaulay
anything about it.
Culkin should be in
You're
it.
not gonna be alive,
I feel like he
Sheriff.
should be
You're not gonna
swinging
lock up
paint
in jail,
cans
you
at
punk.
Jason Voorhees or something. Like it feels phonetically too similar to Home Alone 2. Hike Alone, Never Hike Alone 2 still feels like Joe Pesci should be slipping on ice or something in that. It feels like it's just phonetically too similar to Home Alone,
Sheriff,
which
what is going on?
just a short,
It's
scant
just a
6
bunch
weeks
of
ago, I
local
watched the hell out of those 2 movies because
hell
my
is
kids
Jason?
decided they loved the Home Alone movies,
Now's not
and so
the
I
time
watched a
or
lot of
place.
Home Alone back in December, late December.
You go home.
Watched a lot of Home
Be
Alone.
with your wife and kid. We'll talk about it.
Maybe
in the
that's
morning.
what's wrong with me.
That's an order.
So they got all these
Copy,
cops. They
Chief.
got at least 2 police cars,
Hey,
2 police
You want
cruisers.
something to do tonight?
And I don't know, what do they got? 3, 4 cops there? And still, they're going to send one dude in by himself. And it seems to be a bad decision. But, well. Catherine O'Hara. Yep, she passed away pretty recently, didn't she?
Jason's back.
That's a shame, man. It's one of the tough things about getting older is gotta say goodbye to some of these actors that we grew up with. And Catherine O'Hara did not seem very old at all, but I mean, that's because my mental image of her is circa 1992, 1991. Like, I think Catherine O'Hara, and I see her in the back of the U-Haul with John Candy, God rest his soul as well. And so, you know, that being 35 years ago, of course, she got older, right? I mean, it is a shame. One of the bad things about getting old. Yeah, I'm also impressed with the quality of these. That is why I decided, I said we should watch this one tonight. So he's looking for Jason Voorhees. This is one of those, like, blink and you'll miss it head explosions, but it's pretty gnarly, so I don't want you guys to miss this gentleman's head exploding. It's one of those things where, I don't know if you guys are, I like shooting guns. To be honest with you, I like going pew, 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 pew at the range. It's fun. So, you know, you shoot things with a shotgun. You load up some buckshot, and if you're 10 feet away, 15 feet away, whatever it is you're shooting at, you don't need to aim. You can shoot from the hip, and it's going to be just shredded, like if you're shooting a paper target. It's just, you don't need to aim. It's not that kind of a weapon. And so, you know, you can imagine from close range, if the shotgun's filled with buckshot, whatever it does hit is just, you know, pretty well destroyed. And we're about to witness that here. And it's pretty like, oh shit. Like, you know, when it happens, it's, you know, you'll feel your butthole clench. Let's put it that way. Brian says he's never blocked mid-level douche. He's never blocked a mofo in his life, and he wants to fight you IRL. So you can both come up to Maine, and I'll referee. YouTube does hide those comments. I find the edgy comments, the funnier ones, YouTube hides. So what I do anytime I'm checking comments, I go in because I want to see the hidden ones. Because that's usually where I'm told to either go fuck myself or somebody says something funny, you know, they repeat something edgy that I said or something. And I'm always like, I want to approve it. I want to go in there and approve it. Even if they tell me to fuck myself, I'm okay with that. I want to approve it and get it out there because, you know, free speech. Like, you ought to be able to tell me to go after myself on the internet. Why not? Wow. Yeah. The smell never fully goes away. Yeah, I guess that's just a reminder to us all. Don't F with mid-level douche.
Just wrapping up now. Be home soon.
Don't do it.
Give the little guy a hug for me.
Get yourself in trouble.
Love you.
I will say mid-level, your comments are never hidden on my videos. I always see your comments. I always relish your comments. Don't rub your balls on my chunky boxes, please. I love you. Yeah, if you're going to add this one to your list, like I said, I will, when this, you know, when I'm done doing this, I'll go in and edit, and I'll add to the description of the video, I'll add the link to this one. But the guys who did this one, they also did a couple other ones, Never Hike Alone and Never Hike Alone 2, which are longer than this. They're like closer to feature length, like 75, 85 minutes. And similar, like really good production value, pretty well made. I think Tom Matthews comes back in one of them, at least one of them, maybe both of them, as Tommy Jarvis. So, you know, you get a continuation of that. You even get that continuity, so that's nice. And so, yeah, I definitely think you should check them out. There were like some, I remember, I don't know if it was Dragon Con or Anime Week in Atlanta, but I remember seeing some, this was a long time ago that I lived in Atlanta and was attending Dragon Con, but I do remember seeing some Star Wars fan films. This was probably before they even finished with the trilogy, with the prequel trilogy. But well before they even dreamed of this, the ill-fated piece of shit sequel trilogy. So here it gets interesting. I just saw the camera just did its little spaz thing, and he's got Jason enshrined there. Jason about to blow them cameras out. Hey, on Saturday. Here we go. Mid-level is here. He will not be edited. I keep watching. Oh, there's the head explosion. Boom! Did you see it? Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, did y'all see that shit? Oh, my God. It blew that dude's head up. Boom. Stomp the camera. Now, I mean, stomping a camera is not quite as impressive as, like, the, you know, if you were curb stomping the actual dude. There wasn't anything left to freaking curb stomp, dude. He just blew that dude's... That is, I think that's a great, like, exclamation point way to end this. It doesn't really provide anything in the way of, like, resolution to the conflict that they built for the last 27 minutes, but it is kind of like a, whoa, shit, did you see that? That dude's head just blew up kind of way to end a short film, which I think is also effective. Thank you for watching that with me. I will of course include a link to that, and I'll throw in a link to their other, you know, Never Hike Alone and Never Hike Alone 2. That's some good free content. That's you know, it's Friday the 13th. You could pass out watching one of them shits on your YouTube tonight. You could lay in bed next to your wife. Hell, I got a good mind to pull one of those up on my YouTube and on my iPad and just lay right next to my wife. I could play with her hair with one hand and, like, hold the iPad with the other. I could have my little headphones in, and I could be watching Jason chopping people up on Friday the 13th as I'm passing out. Speaking of which, it is midnight, and I will be doing that quite soon. I've got young children who will be up early tomorrow. We've gone, what are we at, like 2 hours? We're at 2 hours or so now. So somehow Palpatine returned. Yeah, I don't like to think about it. I stopped watching Star Wars films in the theater. Like, I'm sure you guys are all kind of more or less my age, my generation. But if you're not, like, imagine being a generation that, like, grew up on Star Wars. And, like, when a Star Wars movie was in the theater, like, that was big shit. That was, like, a really big deal, like a theatrical Star Wars experience. Like, when he finally did the re-release of the special editions in the theaters in the mid-90s, like 95, 96, 97, George Lucas did those. That was a fucking event. Like, people were like, holy shit, they're back in theaters. A Star Wars film hadn't been in theaters since, like, 1983. It would have been like 15, 16 years since the Star Wars movies had played theatrically. We, of course, had been watching them on VHS on, like, 32-inch CRT TVs with the sun shining through and glare on the screen. It was not the same experience. And so, just to be able to watch a Star Wars movie, I mean, it was something like truly biblical. It was like, wow, this is an event. Like, put this down, write this down for posterity. Like, motherfuckers need to know. But then shit got so bad. After The Last Jedi, I don't think I didn't go see the Han Solo movie in theaters. God, that was terrible too. And I didn't see Rise of Skywalker. I don't even know the names of them anymore. I'm like, which one is Last Jedi? Which one is Rise of Skywalker? I have to, like, look it up online to remind myself which is which. But I finally did watch Rise of Skywalker on TV. It was on, I don't know, whatever. I had YouTube TV and I streamed it one day. And I just remember thinking, like, are these guys standing on spaceships? Are they fighting on spaceships that are, like, they basically turned all the Jedi into superheroes. Like, Rey starts jumping high, like doing Superman shit. I'm like, they're supposed to be Jedi, man. This is based on samurai shit. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, get back to the roots. I think if they're going to make more Star Wars films, and I really wish they wouldn't. I wish they wouldn't. Just let it die, okay? Let it be part of the past. Let the past die. Like Kylo Ren said, let the past die. If they're going to do more Star Wars films, I beg the creative individuals, the semi-creative, quasi-creative individuals who are going to work on these Star Wars films in the future to please go back to the roots. It's pulp entertainment, it's Flash Gordon, and it's samurai shit. You need to watch some good samurai movies, and you need to carry that into the Jedi and the way they comport themselves. They're not superheroes. They're not Superman. They're not the Flash. They're not meant to be superhuman. Yes, they can use the Force, and they can do some incredible things, but so can trained martial artists, not use the Force, but trained martial artists, trained warriors can do some incredible stuff, not superhuman shit. They don't fly. They don't leap tall buildings in a single bound. They can do some cool shit with a sword. They can move fast. I'm okay with that. They can concentrate. They can focus. Zen-like shit. And Star Wars has just completely gotten away from that. And I blame the people that are overseeing the franchise. I blame George Lucas for selling the motherfucker and selling it to the wrong damn people. It's George Lucas's fault too, because he just wanted a bag of money. That motherfucker was looking in the mirror at all the gray hairs and wrinkles and just thinking, I need a bag of money before I die. I'm going to sell this shit for $4 billion. It's terrible. It's terrible. Terrible. Nothing like a little, except a lot. Because sometimes a little is less than what you need. And a little just gets things started. Sometimes you need a lot. Sometimes you need enough. As long as a little is enough, there ain't nothing like it. But if a little ain't enough, The Force Awakens sucked. Yes, yes, yes. Claw Machine Palpatine. Claw Machine Palpatine. Claw Machine Palestine. Is that supposed to say Palestine or Palpatine? Palpatine, okay. It is supposed to say Palpatine. I'm trying to avoid controversial subjects. My YouTube is already throttled because I say bad words, but I don't need to be talking about Gaza on them. I'm going to get in trouble. CIA is going to disappear me at that point. Is this movie going to be any good? I never watched The Mandalorian because I never had Disney Plus because I refused to do that kind of thing. And so, or just watch Body Heat in 4K. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to be watching Body Heat in 4K. I got to get a copy of that as a poster. Yeah, I think Brad has a point. It's also late enough. I've gone more than 2 hours. We watched a little bit of Friday the 13th fan film together, and we all kept our pants on, and YouTube did not shut my stream down. So now I'm emboldened, and I'm going to see what else is in the public domain, and maybe next time I go live, we can watch like Nosferatu or some shit by F.W. Murnau. And that could be kind of cool. I don't know. I'll find out what else I can get away with. I love pushing the line. So Brad knows what's up. I send him the memes. I'll be sending him you and Brad, I will tell you, you and Adam, my buddy Adam, who was in here earlier, you and Adam are the ones who get like the really messed up, like kind of quasi-political Israel, Gaza, Palestine memes. Every time I see one of those, I'm like, Brad and Adam. Brad, like, send it to those two crazy fuckers because, you know, it's what I do. It's what I do. Anyway, I will say thank you to all of you people for hanging out in the stream. I appreciate you all. You all wonderful, lovely people. I hope you have a lovely Friday the 13th, what's left of it. Technically, it's the 14th now. Happy Valentine's Day because it's after midnight. My Valentines. You guys are my bloody Valentines. And I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling while I drank my lunch. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'll do it again soon. I want to do these lives more often. I want to do honestly, I aspire to a weekly live, but we'll see if that winds up happening, but that would be kind of cool. So I'll see you guys again in the future. I'll publish another video again, I promise, unless the CIA gets rid of me tonight for all the Palestine talk in the chat. But, you know, otherwise, I will see you guys, catch you guys on the Flippy Dippy. Everybody go get some rest, sleep tight, except Dr. Zeus. I think it's like 9 o'clock where he's at. So It's still fairly early if you're Dr. Seuss, but I'm going to go check on them kids. I'm going to make sure they're still asleep and get a little sleep myself because they're going to wake me up at 6 o'clock tomorrow and want to eat some Lucky Charms. I don't let them eat junky cereal except for Saturday morning. I got like a routine. Saturday morning, no junk food cereal unless it's Saturday morning, and then you can have the cereal with the marshmallows or whatever. So they go wake me up at 6 and be like, I want the Saturday morning cereal, Dad. Come on, let's go. So I'm going to catch some sleep as well. I love you guys. Peace. I'm out of here.